which comes up next. We'll get things rolling as we send it downstairs right now to Lisa Friday. Lisa?
We're here moments away from the 5A state championship between the Providence Catholic and Pontiac High School. Joining me is Don Sebastian right here from Providence Catholic and Jim Drengwitz from Pontiac High School. And Don, I'm going to talk to you first since this is your second year at Providence Catholic. You have to be really excited that the team is actually back again.
Lisa, we're very excited at Providence Catholic. We're very proud of these student athletes because of the things that they've accomplished, not only here on the football field with a back-to-back appearance down here this year, but also what they accomplished in our classrooms also.
So you have the possibility this afternoon to win an 8th state title. That's got to be a great feeling.
Well, Coach Seffner, that's one of the key things that goes into our program is the fact that they're always working up to their capability, and Coach Seffner has made sure that takes place within the football program.
Talk a little bit about the beginning of the season, the way that the players actually get prepared for this, because really they go through so much during the off season to get ready each and every year.
Well, the players, of course, are constantly working on improving their athletic capabilities, and that's through conditioning type of things that take place during the off season, becoming better conditioned athletes. And then, of course, once we start in August after the legal starting date, then it's the constant repetition of learning the skills and techniques that go into it. Very similar to what you have to do in a classroom setting also.
Well, Providence Catholic won the Class 6A state title last year against Richards. How does it feel to be now in 5A?
Well, actually, when you get into these classes, there really isn't a lot of difference. When you start talking about 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, 8A, you're talking about quality football programs and quality high schools. So when you win a state championship in any one of these classes, it's quite an achievement. And you got to take your hat off to those people in 1A and 2A. That's an achievement too. A lot of different circumstances.
You have an extraordinary coach in Matt Seffner. Haven't had a losing season since 1980. Talk a little bit about the coach.
Well, Matt is a master motivator. That is his MO, as they say. He's got a fantastic staff, assistant coaches that do a great job and follow his lead. But Matt is the Pied Piper, if you want to use that term. These young men follow him around and they believe in everything he says and does. And he's a wonderful example and a wonderful role model for the young people of Providence Catholic.
What has the atmosphere been like this past week since they found out that they were going downstate?
Well, it's been rather subdued because, you know, we've been here a lot. So consequently, you know, the student body and the athletes and the parents, you know, we kind of take it in stride and we don't put that before the educational process. So we just kind of take it in stride. But now with this being a holiday weekend, after we got out of classes on Tuesday, you could see it starting to build. There's no doubt about that. So they had a lot of fun this week.
Thank you, Don Sebastian from Providence Catholic. Next joining me is Jim Drengwitz from Pontiac, and you've been the principal there now for 8 years. Talk a little bit about the team and the fact that you haven't been downstate since 1993 when you won the state title against Waterloo.
Well, it has been a long time. 1993, we were Class 3A, and we've kind of bounced back and forth between 4A and 3A, and now with the new classification, we're 5A this year. So it's been a long dry spell, but we've been in the semifinals and the quarterfinals quite a few times the last 6 years, but this is the first time, and we're excited, and our kids are excited.
What's the atmosphere been like at school with the students and the fact that the faculty will be here as well as the parents?
Well, it was a short week anyway with Thanksgiving, but the kids were excited. We had a pep rally last night. We had a good turnout from the community and the student body, so everybody's excited. A lot of signs around town, and last week after we beat Althoff, the excitement just started to build after that game.
Well, you really have had an exciting season. You lost the first game and then won the rest, 12 in a row after that, under the interim coach of David Young, who's done a fantastic job for your program.
Well, he has, and our program started off like most of them did this year, but unfortunately we got caught. We had an IHSA violation, and Dave Young took over as the interim coach. Dave's been in our program about 20 years. And so he's been with Mick the entire time that Mick Peterson's been our head coach. And Dave's done a very nice job. He's our head track coach, just a classy guy. And so we really didn't miss a beat. That first game against Morris was our coaching staff found out a day before all this was going to happen, and so I think a lot of that had a lot to do with that first ball game. But since then, the staff has got on track, and they've done a nice job.
Talk a little bit about some of the main players that you have on the team, too, that actually stand out to you.
Well, Jake Cunningham obviously stands out. He's had a verbal agreement to go to Purdue. Buck Casson and Aaron Vogt are our 3 senior captains, and they've just done an outstanding job. And Don's talking a little bit about the classy kids he has on his football program. We've got the same thing. Those 3 kids are not only classy on the football field, but they're class off the field. They're excellent students, and they're good role models for our younger kids.
All right. Jim Drangwin, thank you very much. 8 years at Pontiac High School. Right now, I'm going to send it to the press conference.
Question is if working against the perceived Mount Carmel mystique is something that an opponent has to work to overcome.
I think that when you're dealing with high school kids, there is that issue. You address it during the course of the week. You point out that at this time I think the junior senior class from Mount Carmel, they hadn't been here before. So we're matching our kids against their kids. If mystique becomes an issue, then it's a coaching mistake on my part for not trying to eradicate it and get it out of there.
Yes,
well, certainly only down 10-0 at the half. I mean, you had to feel pretty good that you were handling them and any mystique that was there. I mean, you played them well in the first half.
The question was that Bloomington did play Mount Carmel well in the first half, holding them only 10-0, and he had to feel good about how they had played in the first half.
Defining handling being down 10-0 is an issue, but I agree. I thought that we played well that opening drive. They went the distance against us, which was very disappointing. That goes back to the gamble, the issue of not taking perhaps the wind. We lost field position. They kicked deep. We don't handle the ball well at that point. We turned it over. Our defense holds them to 3, which again is a tribute I get to the kids that are out there. And then we just find ourselves back up against the wall. We're not executing. I think we turned the ball over another time. But considering what had developed, to be down only 10-0 was, I guess, a moral victory for anything. But to be in the third quarter and have an opportunity with the wind at back, I thought there were a couple chances there to get the kids into the game, and for whatever reason we just didn't execute. Maybe play calling to get the kids that have helped get us here the football, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Talking about that 4th and 1 out there 30 or down 10-0, and that was one of those times where it looked like if you could have got in there, then it really would have been a game.
The question was to talk about the 4th and 1 play from the 30-yard line on the opening drive of the first half, and if that would have been successful, it could have maybe changed the perspective of the game.
Yeah, and if you can have plays back, it's my fault. It was a call that perhaps should not have been made. We go with the tailback into strength of formation. They slant into it. We don't do a nice job picking up backers. Play gets stuffed. We don't even get a line of scrimmage. If go first back through, deal with all kinds of what ifs, but that's just not it either. I mean, it doesn't always come down to one play, and I think there were some other plays within that drive, and I can't remember the other drive either, on the front side or the back side of it. We've done a better job, but who knows?
Rigo, can you talk about the thought process of going again into the wind from the start of the game, and also your offensive game plan today?
The question was to talk about going into the wind to start the game and what the offensive game plan was for the game.
Well, as I said, we felt our defensive players.
How exciting has this been this past weekend just to see all the state champions?
Well, it's tremendous. The football playoffs are always an exciting time, and to have these kids come in and these communities come together here in Champaign has been a tremendous experience for all of us. We think as today goes on, we'll see some more great games, and the weather's going to be a little cool, but we can handle that.
Yeah, a little cool is putting it mildly. I think it's about 25 degrees out here, and maybe the wind chill actually feels like about 25 miles an hour. But talk a little bit about your responsibilities this past year. How has that been for you?
Well, it's been fine. It's been a transition, and anytime you change jobs, I think you're going to have some things that things go well and some that don't go quite as well. But all in all, the experience has been very positive. I've got a great staff, a great board of directors, and a lot of support. So it's been a nice transition.
Being here, though, this afternoon for basically what would be your first tournament for football, the state championships here for the IHSA, talk a little bit about what the atmosphere has been here, has actually been like, just because of the fact that, okay, it's a little cold out here, like I said, that's putting it mildly, but just the fact that the fans and the parents and the faculty that comes out from each one of the schools are just so impressed at this field.
Yeah, well, it's something special for these kids and schools to come and play at Memorial Stadium. And the people of Champaign have done a tremendous job just opening their arms, making these people feel welcome. As you come into town, you see all the signs, all the extra special things that these folks have done. And it's, excuse me, but it's really been a neat experience for these people. And it's an experience these kids will remember all their lives. Win, lose, or draw. They come here, they'll have fun, whether it's cold, whether it's windy. And years to come, they'll talk about the time they were in Memorial Stadium where the Fighting Illini play and the Bears play, and they'll remember that fondly.
Is there, well, now that you mentioned about the Bears, this has to just be exciting at the fact that everything has been basically redone just to have the Chicago Bears here. Yeah, this is beautiful at this end of the end zone with the scoreboard and the replay stuff that these kids have. And when they go back and watch the tapes and get to see all the things, it's just like the big time here. And I think that's got to be how they feel when they come out of that locker room that the Bears come out of, or that the New Orleans Saints came out of, or the Ohio State Buckeyes or whatever. It's something that's really special. Well, another thing that's really exciting, only because the game is moments away for Class 5A, is the fact that Providence Catholic is back here once again, competed in 6A last year and won the state title against Richards, and now is actually competing in 5A against Pontiac.
Yeah, well, there's some that would say they could compete in any class, I think, but they've got a tremendous tradition, and so does Pontiac. Pontiac has a wonderful football program. They've been very successful over the years. They're no stranger to playing in a state championship game either, and so I think it's going to be a great game.
How did you like the way that the classes were actually put together this year?
Well, we're very satisfied with that. We think things went well there. It's a system. It's new. It's going to take some adjusting to, I think, by the coaches in particular. But by and large, I think the schools are supportive of the way it was put together. And it's very much like we do all of our tournaments, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise to people.
I have a question, though, regarding the flip-flop in the way each game is played. Since normally it went 1 through 4 on Fridays, 5 through 8 on Saturday, but now it's flip-flopped.
Yeah, that was a recommendation of our football advisory committee. They felt that on alternating years we ought to flip those classes so the 1A doesn't always play the early game, or the 5A doesn't always play the early game, and then same at the late night game, that we don't have 8A always playing the late game and 7A always playing the first game that session. So
thank you very much. Marty Hickman, Executive Director with the IHSA. I am going to send it back into the press room.
The fact that he's up here with some of his friends for a lifetime. Some of these guys play football and baseball together. They do other things together, and they really care about one another. I can't say this is the most talented team that we've ever had, but this is definitely one of the most closely knit teams we've ever had.
Do you have any questions for the coach?
Any comments on how your defense did really seem to step it up in the third quarter and 10-0 lead and stop that 4-1 in your own territory?
Question was the comment on the defense after 10-0 lead and stopping the 4th and 1 in the first drive of the third quarter.
Well, at halftime, Ed, we told the boys, one of the last things we told them before we left the locker room was that the first 5 minutes of the third quarter was going to set the tempo for the rest of the game. We moved in early for a score in the first half, and then we kind of struggled. So we told them we needed to do something to regain the momentum for this football game. And we felt that would happen particularly in the first 5 minutes because we knew they were going to take the ball and we were going to be kicking into the wind because we wanted the wind at our back in the fourth quarter. And I think the defense not only stepped it up today, but then the offense caught charge from those guys, and we just moved forward.
Sir.
I don't think I've seen you quite as happy in a long time after a victory as you were out there on the podium or whatever. Is there any reason this is maybe even more special victory for you?
Question was that the gentleman seemed to think that the coach was a lot more happy than he seemed to see him in the past on the podium, asking if this was more of a special victory for him.
Let me think about that, Hedge. Of course, again, having my son be a part of the team and being one of the captains of the team, You know, I told Dave Ganaway it's really kind of unique because in our position we've probably coached over 700 football players in state championship play, and to have an opportunity to have your son be a part of one of those teams as well really makes it a special day for him, for us, and for his friends as well, because they're all a part of that. But you know, again, he and I have talked about it quite a bit lately, away from school, just the opportunity to continue to be together in that kind of a setting makes it rather unique and makes it rather special.
Where momentarily Providence Catholic will be playing Pontiac, and joining me from the newspapers is Bill Scheibe. He is from the Joliet Herald here on my left. And on my right is Tim O'Reilly from the Daily Southtown. You guys are very obviously familiar with Providence Catholic. Bill, talk a little bit about Providence Catholic and just a fantastic season that they've had this year, being undefeated.
Yeah, and they've done it on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they run a great I formation. They're going to power up, and they're going to try to be physical with Pontiac and see how Pontiac reacts. And then defensively, they just don't give teams very much. They have a great safety in Mark Ryder, very underrated linebackers with Marty Marino, and very quick, agile front four, their linemen. And so it's going to be a test for Pontiac to see if they can spread the field against Providence.
And just an incredible coach in Matt Seffner, just having successful season since 1980.
Yeah, and what people don't know about Matt is he gives a lot of the offensive game plan and defensive game plan to his coordinators. He works with his offensive linemen. And how many programs can say that they have a head coach caliber person guiding their linemen, and their linemen are terrific. They have a great offensive line. That's why Clay Cleveland, who's barely 5'7", a real gutty kid, he gets his hand on those linemen and he runs, and he's like the phantom running back. Try to find them. And they're a terrific offense.
And how long have you been covering Providence Catholic? How long altogether have you been?
I've been covering Providence probably for 15, 16 years over 2 or 3 different newspapers. So they're a class program. They're going to play straight up, and they play that typical Catholic power type football, and they're very tough to play against. No one's been able to stop them yet.
Thanks, Bill. Next, Tim Riley, what do you see in Providence Catholic that maybe you haven't seen in some of the prior years?
This year, the defense is amazingly quick. They're undersized. They do it with quickness. They call themselves the circus because they have such a good time. They're flying around and jumping on piles. And you know, you won't see necessarily any Division I players on defense, but as a unit, they're Division I type caliber. That's something different from maybe past years, and they've had, you know, maybe a little more size.
What do you know about Pontiac? I know that's not one of the teams you normally cover with the Daily Southtown.
Well, they have some great two-way players, especially Jake Cunningham, who plays cornerback and running back. He's run for over 1,400 yards this year. It's going to be key for Providence to stop him. They can't let Cunningham get in the secondary because I don't think Providence has anyone in secondary to match his speed. He runs a legit 4.3. He'll be going to Purdue next year. They've got to be able to contain him, bottom up near the line, because if he gets past the line, it's going to be tough to bring down.
Do you see that there's any actually big difference going from 6A when they played Richards last year and won the state title compared to going now down to 5A?
Not necessarily. I think it's a pretty smooth transition for them. I know for Pontiac, this is a big game. You know, the Pontiac proved they could play with a team like Providence when they lost to Joliet Catholic 28-22 years ago. So I mean, and they've got a lot to play for with their coach being out and their quarterback to start the season being out. So I'm sure they'll be ready for Providence.
Thanks. Tim O'Reilly from the Daily Southtown, as well as Bill Scheibe from Joliet Herald. We'll be back with more right here, right after this local break.
Are you looking for quality television? Then turn to Channel 20 and discover a world of quality family programs. You'll find educational and children's programming, specials, and original WICC productions. If you enjoy innovative television, contribute $35 and receive 1 year of our monthly program guide. In addition, you can receive an exclusive WICC premium gift when you contribute more.
For contributions and to become a member, call 773-838-7878 or visit our website at www.wycc.org.
Contribute today so that we may continue to improve our 2020 vision.
Hello, I'm Wayne Watson, Chancellor of the City Colleges of Chicago. At the City Colleges, we are committed to providing a high-quality education to those who want to improve their lives and their futures. Take it from one of our graduates.
Hi, my name is Coco Scott Winbush, better known as Chef Coco here in Chicagoland, and I am a Washburn alumnus. The instructors there, par excellence. They taught me everything I needed to know to survive in this world of professional cooking. Washburn gave me the food foundation to be able to compete with some of the best chefs here in the world and also in Chicagoland.
We have more than 212 programs, everything from child development, physician's assistant, welding, nursing, liberal arts, GED, or English as a second language. Call us at the 773 college number. Your path to progress is at the City Colleges of Chicago.
Of Illinois, we are moments away from the opening kickoff between the 5A Class State Championship teams, Providence Catholic and Pontiac. Joining me on my left is Greg Georgelis. He is the assistant editor to Tom Lemming's football report. And on my right is Corey McEwen from Naperville North High School. Greg, talk about the Army All-American team that's coming up here in January.
It's January 5th down in San Antonio. It's the U.S. Army All-American game. It's the third annual game. We've got 4 players from Illinois coming down. Corey's one of them. Tom Zubikowski, Buffalo Grove, will be defensive back. Mike Richards, the offensive guard, will be playing for the East along with Mo Dampier from Decatur MacArthur High School.
And now working with Tom Lemming, you do this throughout the entire year. You go and look at all the players throughout the year. Talk a little bit about what you look for when you're coming out with the polls in the beginning of the season.
Well, the first thing we do is we check all of our contacts. We find out who are the top players, who's being recruited, who's been offered in May. That's a big indicator who's going to be big-name players. And then we actually look at probably over 1,000 tapes from schools that players send to us or coaches. We break those tapes down. We break them we break them down just like we do for colleges. Check their change of direction, check their movement, their hips. But the only thing we can't tell is actually their size or how big they'll get. But we pretty well go from there.
Talk a little bit about Corey McEwen, who's right here, as well as Tom Zibikowski from Buffalo Grove.
Well, Corey's probably #1 linebacker in Illinois. You know, he's getting some great action. He's got some great contacts. He's got some good visits set up. He's got Purdue, Wisconsin, South Carolina has come in. Coach Kosh is doing a good job. Illinois has come in. Whoever picks him up is going to get a great ball player from Illinois. I hope he stays pretty close to watch him. Tom Zubikowski is probably the #1 player in the Midwest. He's a great athlete. I know he plays quarterback, but he's going to play defensive back in college. His 3 choices pretty much are Iowa, Nebraska, and Notre Dame. Great schools. It's just a matter of if he's going to play quarterback in Nebraska or if he's going to play defensive back at Iowa or Notre Dame. It's just up to him.
Great, Greg. Next to me is Corey McEwen. Greg from Tom Lemming's Football Report, the assistant editor there. Corey McEwen is on the U.S. Army All-American team. This has to be such an honor for you to be able to play there in January.
Yeah, it's great to be, just a part of the big thing. It's a national thing, and just making this such an elite squad is it's such a nice thing, and being a part of it, going with Tom Zibikowski, a player I've been watching all year, such a great athlete. Just to be a part of that with him is just going to be a lot of fun.
Talk about how exciting this past year has been for you.
Oh, it's been great. Our team had a great run. We didn't do too well in the playoffs, but Lockport beat us, and now they're in the state. They're a great team. Really looking forward to watching play today.
You always have a great game when it comes to the matchup between Naperville North and Naperville Central, that big crosstown that brings in close to 15,000 people. Is that a different game compared to the rest of the season?
Oh, everyone looks forward to the Naperville Central game. It's one of the biggest rivalries ever in Naperville with any team, and going in to get to play at the college, at North Central College, it's a lot of fun, and going in and playing your friends from across another school, it's a lot of fun, and we'll always look forward to it.
Corey McEwen from Naperville North High School, as well as Greg Georgelis. We'll be back with more. The opening kickoff for Class 5A is moments away. We'll be back right after this local break.
Are you looking for quality television? Then turn to Channel 20 and discover a world of quality family programs. You'll find educational and children's programming, specials, and original WICC productions. If you enjoy innovative television, contribute $35 and receive 1 year of our monthly program guide. In addition, you can receive an exclusive WYCC premium gift when you contribute more.
For contributions and to become a member, call 773-838-7878 or visit our website at www.wycc.org.
Contribute today so that we may continue to improve our 2020 vision.
Hello, I'm Luisa Torres, host of Nuestros Niños. WYCC TV 20 proudly presents a new hour of Spanish language programming. Sunday at 9 p.m., join me for Nuestros Niños, a weekly series covering topics important to you and your family. Then at 9:30, stay tuned for Europa Semanal, a news program bringing you information about European events of the week. In keeping with a commitment to diversity, WYCC proudly brings you this special hour of programming.
Hi, I'm Reverend Betty Mixon, but lately I'm best known as the mother of Professor Constance Mixon. When Connie was named the 2001 Illinois Professor of the Year by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching, I knew that her commitment to her students was being recognized. My daughter could teach anywhere, but she chooses to teach at Daly College, the city colleges of Chicago. They have the state's best teacher and a whole lot more.
Back-to-back state titles, and for Pontiac High School, well, they're hoping for a second state title in the school's history. It's all coming up next on the IHSA Television Network. Welcome to Memorial Stadium on the campus of the University of Illinois in Champaign for the IHSA Class 5A State Football Championships between the undefeated Providence Catholic Celtics and the 12-1 Pontiac Indians. Hello everyone, I'm Lisa Prati with the IHSA Television Network. Very happy to be bringing you this 5A matchup. Providence Catholic won the Class 6A state title last year against Richards. They have 7 state titles to their credits, hoping for number 8. Pontiac, on the other hand, has not won a state title since 1993 when they beat Waterloo, so they're looking for title number 2. Let's find out more about both of these teams from the gentlemen upstairs. Well, it's Tom Stocker and Jim Culvert.
Thank you very much, Lisa. We appreciate that here at Providence against Pontiac. Providence, no surprise they're here. They're looking for their 28th consecutive victory under 35th-year head coach Matt Sempner. Pontiac has defied the odds this year, losing their head coach Mick Peterson to a suspension 2 days before the season began, and now playing with their third-string quarterback starting today. They're a little bit surprised to be in this title game.
Well, they are, Tom, and you know, it takes a lot of adversity sometimes to bring the best out of a team, and Pontiac's here, and that's why we play the game. So we'll see, they've got quite a challenge on their hands today in Providence.
Let's see how these two teams got here to the final game. First of all, for Pontiac, they had to survive first-round overtime victory over Olympia and eked out a quarterfinal win over Metamora, came from behind to beat Altop down in Belleville. Meanwhile, when you take a look at the road to Champaign for the Providence Catholic Celtics, maybe the thing that really stands out, the worst playoff defeat ever suffered by Joliet Catholic.
And that in itself says a lot, Tom, doesn't it? I mean, they had a close game early in the year, but you want to get it running on all cylinders in the playoffs, and that's evidenced by that score.
Meanwhile, for Pontiac, one of the reasons why they are here, a hard-nosed running back by the name of Jake Cunningham.
And Jake Cunningham is, like you said, one of the main reasons they're here. He's caught over 400 yards of passes and rushed for over 1,400 yards, playing with a knee brace, a very gutsy co-captain.
Defensively, Aaron Vogt, two-way lineman, 4-year starter on defense, wearing number 51.
And he, Tom, also is a co-captain. He has 12 sacks, and just the kind of pit player that all the people who watch on television will enjoy. If they played in the line, they'll enjoy watching a guy like Aaron Vogt play today.
For the Celtics, Clay Cleveland, all the 5'9", nearly 2,000 yards rushing.
And I'm sure Clave Cleveland, as great a back as he is, would give a lot of credit to those guys up front. 1,900 yards rushing. He's going to go over the 2,000 mark today. He reads his blocks very well.
Meanwhile, the defense, Marty Marino, the linebacker, anchoring a defense that has been stingy. And
Marty Marino is a leading tackler, and there's been a lot of young men like Marty Marino over the years playing for Matt Steffner. He comes out of that mold of a 200-pound, mobile, aggressive linebacker.
So we've got the two Ps going here in the battle for 5A. The Providence Celtics, the Pontiac Indians. Pontiac in the title game for the first time since 1993. Meanwhile, for the Celtics, looking for their second consecutive championship. The Pontiac Indians, you know, you take a look, and they struggled early in the season. Interim coach, defensive coordinator Dave Young challenged his senior leaders and said, what are you going to make of this season? And obviously they took the challenge.
And that early loss to Morris, I'm sure, was one that they knew they played a good football team, Tom, but they've come back in this last 2 weeks beating a Belleville-Altoff and a Metamora, two outstanding programs, gives them the kind of confidence I think that they need to going into this football game.
Meanwhile, Providence survived a loaded upper bracket, a bracket that included Joliet Catholic, Morris, the two teams that played for this title a year ago. But here is Providence just rolling along. Let's meet the two teams now as we go to the stadium public address announcer.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for the Class 5A state championship. First, from Pontiac, head coach David Young. And the starting defense for the Indians, tackle number 51, Aaron Vogt. Tackle number 50, Mike Trainer. End number 76, Brian Johnson. At end number 58, Michael Carls. Linebacker number 9, Buck Casson. At linebacker number 34, Matt Zier. Cornerback number 1, Nick Meister. Cornerback number 13, Danny Mackinson. Safety number 31, Jake Cunningham. Safety number 21, Corey Imke. And at linebacker number 5, Ryan Benning. And now for Providence Catholic, head coach Matt Steffner. And the starting offense at quarterback number 7, Nick Stanton. Running back number 29, Clay Cleveland. Fullback number 44, Darren Rickler. Wide receiver number 2, Mark Bennett. At wide receiver number 80, Tony Vlahovic. At tight end number 89, Dan Bland. Left tackle number 65, Joe Cerullo. Left guard number 62, Sean Dominic. At center number 64, Mike Pavlik. At right guard number 67, Jeremy Gaughan. And at right tackle number 75, Dan McKenty.
So there are the starters here in the battle for the 5A state championship. All right, Jim, what are these two teams going to have to do to come away with a big trophy at the end of this game? First of all, for the Pontiac Indians.
Well, we know that Pontiac has got their hands full today with Providence, but I think the key for the Indians basically will be not to give a short field to Providence. They certainly do not need any help, and that means they need to have good kicks and move the football, and also this is a game where they have to play their best football game of the year, error-free football in the kicking game, no fumbles or interceptions.
Meanwhile, for Providence, they've got to, I'm sure, among other things, get that ground game going.
Well, and they run the ball very well, but same old basically means just do what you've been doing all season. Matt Steffner saying, fellas, we've been playing good football, just keep doing the same exact thing. And if they score early like they have all year, they've scored 170 points compared to giving up 6 in the first quarter. That type of a situation developing again can then all of a sudden make the Indians doubt themselves, and I think they want to get off to an early start.
For Pontiac,
their confidence depends on how quickly, if they're able to, stop this Pontiac offense. The kick, and we're underway for the 5A championship. On the return, Mark Ryder, and he gets up to the 35-yard line, a 12-yard return. And so quarterback Nick Stanton will get it going from the 35-yard line. A last-minute change. They're starting Tony Vlahovic at a wide receiver in place of their leading receiver, Tim Turkowski. Whether we see Turkowski coming in later on this first drive remains to be seen. Nick Stanton has him 1st and 10. Cleveland doesn't find much room at all through the left side as he gets a couple of yards to the 37.
Well, we've, if you were watching the first game, it's awful cold out there, and the wind is a factor, and we're going to see that become a part of the game situation today, I think, Tom. You know, whether to punt, you know, call a timeout and make a team punt into the wind, and if Pontiac get a good stop here, that would force Providence to punt into the wind.
They call it 2nd and 9 as they send a man in motion. Cleveland strung out, brought down at the 40-yard line, just across the 40-yard line. Mike Traynor, defensive tackle, in on the stop. Take a look at the wind blowing up to 30, 35 miles an hour. Oh, all the way up to 31. Oh,
wow.
Get the suntan
if
lotion
you see
out.
a polar bear or two down there, they feel comfortable, I think, Tom.
Maybe one of those drinks with a little umbrella in it, right? Feel like one of those kind of a balmy day like this. 3rd and 6. Off the fake. Stanton wants to throw. And it's caught and out of bounds on the near sidelines at the 46-yard line. Mark Bennett, a 14-yard gain.
Nice bootleg fake there off the play action when you run the ball well, like Providence does. And comeback pattern by Bennett into the wind.
Well, this
crosswind.
You talk about Providence and you talk about their ground game, but they've thrown for nearly 120 yards a game. Stanton has really come on well late in the season as a much more accurate passer. They have a hole, and bouncing outside, there goes Cleveland, and he has one man to break, and saving the touchdown was Brian Benning, the linebacker. That's what Clay Cleveland can do. There's a 20-yard gain. You got to wrap them up. You got to stop them.
Well, and you'll see mobile linemen for Providence as we get a chance to watch a replay here. Kick out blocks by 75. Dan McEntee on the breakout run. Nice job. Cleveland reads his blocks real well.
Just when you think you've got Cleveland stopped, he'll keep those legs churning, and he'll bust free, like for that 20-yard gain. From the 26 of Pontiac, it's 1st and 10. Stanton throwing. And down at the 1-yard line, making the catch, Mark Bennett, his 2nd reception. The 5'10" junior making his 20th reception of the year.
Beautiful corner pattern. They ran the outside receiver on an inside move. Here we'll see a view from the end zone. Again, a play action fake. Beautifully thrown into the corner of the end zone. Nice job of just catching the ball, not worrying about the run after the catch.
Yeah, making sure he got to the ball.
Exactly. Some guys try to run with that because they think they have the touchdown and drop the ball.
You got basically a double wing strong formation. Cleveland trying to pick his way through, and he's over for the touchdown.
And there's that early start that they've had each and every game this year, Tom, right off the bat.
Well, they scored one of their first 5-6 possessions against Joliet Catholic. So they score, go 65 yards. And there you see Clay Cleveland coming off. A big reason why they've taken the early lead is they'll go for 2 out of the hold of John Brown. This is Andrew Hopkins. And a 7-0 lead for the Celtics. Just 3 minutes and 16 seconds into the football game. This IHSA broadcast brought to you by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
This is my country. These are my service. It's really knowing the people we serve. Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
What happened to the tree?
Oh, that? Well, it was blocking the satellite signal, so I told the installer guy to do whatever he had to do.
With satellite TV, reception can be a problem. But with AT&T digital cable, there's no dish, no hassles, problem solved.
Makes a great table.
What happened to the table?
AT&T broadband.
Need a truck? Call the red, white, and blue fleet from Elite Truck Rental. Elite's loaded with trucks in all sizes ready to serve you. Plus, at Elite Truck, your reservations are guaranteed, you're in and out fast, and you always get a great price.
Still on the first drive, Providence grabs the lead as you take a look at interim head coach Dave Young, who's been at Pontiac for 17 years and is handling the chores while Mick Peterson has to sit out the year. Providence, you know, you did talk again about how they've had just a great running attack as they went 65 yards in 6 plays, but it was a passing game that really got that drive going.
Well, that's right, Tom. And, you know, Matt Sefner probably wanted to use the win when he had it, and that's a good way to shake things up a little bit because I thought the Indians looked very good against the run when they tried to get outside. It was that inside type of running that Providence does so well that Cleveland broke that long run on.
Bob Kelsey in the kick for the Celtics. And he's got the wind at his back. Fumbled by Benning. He picks it up, and he's hemmed in at the 10-yard line. A crucial mistake. Pontiac wanting to come back and answer that score, and they're going to start deep in the hole.
Field position. They've got to be able to run the football today, Tom. They really do, and eat the clock up and get some first downs and get, you know, not have to punt right away where Providence gets the ball on a short field. Like we said, you can't give Providence a short field.
Michael Long, their quarterback, started the year as the second-string quarterback on the sophomore team. And here he is starting the state championship. Got Cunningham and Benning. Cunningham trying to bounce free, and does a great job bouncing off the hole that wasn't there with the blocker in front of him, and he got up to the 15-yard line.
Indians have about 6 players playing both ways too, Tom. We just saw in motion there Buck Casson. He's a great linebacker, but he's also utilized offensively. So one thing is the hot weather won't bother him today, playing both sides of the ball.
Don't have to worry about cramping up today, huh? 2nd and 6. And the carry goes to Ryan Benning. You know, all the attention given Cunningham. Benning's a 1,000-yard rusher himself, averaging over 7 yards a carry.
And I think we're going to see some option today from what I heard prior to the game, you know, because of the quarterback situation with Michael Long. We might see a little bit more option football than they've done in the past.
Were those shorts I saw? 3rd down and 3 yards to go. Pontiac from the 18, and Long's going to put it up. And it's intercepted. Intercepted by Matt McDermott, and Providence will take it over at the 21-yard line. Now, wait a minute. Now they're saying no. They're saying no. They're waving it off. Incomplete. He didn't have possession when he fell to the turf.
And they catch a break here, the Indians do, as we have a chance to see the play action. There's a bootleg Long coming out to the outside, and there's perfect coverage underneath there by number 1, Matt McDermott. He just threw right into coverage.
Well, he came up and he tried to sell it, but he lost it as he was coming down to the turf. And it'll be 4th down. So back to punt is Doug Malbach. And he drives one not bad into the wind. Brian Peaser from the 45 of Pontiac gets maybe a yard. In fact, nope, no return at all. Nice tackle on the play by Pontiac's Aaron Vogt. 27-yard punt.
And with the wind the way it's gusting, that's actually not a bad punt at all in that situation. A lot of punters with this kind of wind will try to kick the ball low but on an angle so they don't get the return.
Great field position from the 45 of the Indians. Clay Cleveland bounces outside. Can he turn the corner? All down from behind by the cornerback, Danny Mackinson.
Tried to run inside on that play, and good job of penetration there by the Indians. And Mackinson makes a good play on the bounce out by Clay Cleveland.
But that's also the difference, Matt Sefner told me, between Cleveland and the others. Cleveland, other linebackers, I should say running backs, would stop there. Not Cleveland. He keeps the legs turning.
He can make something out of nothing, which he just tried to do there.
2nd and 6 from the 41. And Stanton off the play fake, gets rid of it, and has a man at the 34-yard line. The catch made by tight end Dan Bland, a 6'1 senior.
What's very effective about that short shuffle motion, we saw Darren Richler in motion. They do a lot of lead blocking with him and run the ball in behind it, but that time they actually faked the motion and ran the play action off of it. Mixing their plays up quite a bit here, aren't they, Tom?
After a gain of 7, well, this is complete contrast from their semifinal game against Rochelle, where they just ran the ball against that tough Rochelle defense. No gain on that running play. That one is carried by Darren Richler, the 6-foot senior, who has carried for 174 yards this year. It'll be 2nd down and 10 as you take a look at linebacker Matt Zier, one of their top tacklers. And in the trenches, take a look at the average weight. Not surprising, Providence with the edge there. 2nd and 8. Stanton gives to Cleveland. And he pulls his way, ball comes free, and it's down. It's marked down at the 26-yard line. As after an 8-yard gain, take a look at it once again, and right at the very end, Jim, you'll see it come free.
Well, we'll have an opportunity to see that double lineman leading up the hole. Look at him just slide through the wall, and he's down. You can tell he's down. Brown cannot cause a fumble.
After the 8-yard gain by Cleveland, it's 3rd and 2. As we're halfway through the first quarter, Providence scoring on its first drive, now on its second. Cleveland, I don't think he got it.
Well, and Providence really has that big up front interior, about 50 pounds a man differential, so they're just trying to hammer away right now. And the key there is to get penetration and take the big lineman's legs out from under him to try to make a pile like they just did there, Tom.
Jake Cunningham there, but Michael Carls and Aaron Vogt with a big stop there, bringing up a 4th down and 1. They need to get the ball just the length of a football for a fresh set of downs. A sideline warning against Providence Catholic. You take a look throughout the year, scoring in the regular season, Providence 38 points a game, 10 points a game better in the playoffs. In fact, 5 times this year, Providence has been in a game where they have run the clock, meaning they are up by 40 or more. 2 of those times in the playoffs. Cleveland gets the first down, and he's to the 21-yard line, and a 1st and 10 coming up for Providence after the gain of 5.
Utilizing Mark Ryder, their free safety there in the short yardage situation, number 8. And the linemen for Providence aren't only big, Tom, they're very mobile. You know, a couple of plays ago we saw Jeremy Gaughan, number 67, you know, he goes about 240 and pulling up the hole like he was a running back.
They stay with the I formation. And a penalty marker is thrown. Looks like somebody popped up, look, a little head and shoulder bob from the left side of the... So it'll be 1st and 15, back of the 26. Take a look at our referees. They're from right around this area. Referee Grant Norins from Villa Grove, Chris Long from Siegel, James Boyles from Tuscola, Neil Yates from Philo, Lynn Jepson from Decatur. Ever tell you about the time I almost got killed in Philo? Back in college.
Save that thought.
We may save it. From the 26, 1st and 15. Caught and out of bounds at the 7-yard line by Neil Martin, the 6-foot senior. 14 yards on the reception.
Going to see a nice, very nice ball thrown off the bootleg once again by Nick Stanton as he rolls out, and the run threat's there, and that corner route again, once again, threading the needle there to number 81, Neil Martin. Made sure to look the ball in. Great field position once again.
Stanton's done an outstanding job with the passing game already in this contest as Cleveland churns straight ahead and powers to about the 3-yard line, picking up 4. You know, you don't think a guy 5'9" and listed at 171 would be able to run with such power, but Cleveland is tremendously strong.
Well, and you can get lost in there too, Tom. You know, when you have quick feet and you have a low center of gravity like he does and makes those quick cuts, you get lost in amongst those big linemen. Emmitt Smith style. 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. And he's got the student body left, and Cleveland hit at the line. Great tackle. Coming up to make the stop was Buck Casson, saving the tackle right there. Take a look at it again and watch the lateral movement from the linebacker, Casson. Right, and we'll have a nice stretch play as we see Ryder in there once again, giving the ball to Cleveland. A Ryder does a kick-out block there, takes his man to the ground, and Cleveland almost breaks the plane with the ball, but really, like you said, Tom, great pursuit by Casson. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 1. Again, that power formation from the Celtics. Ryder getting the handoff, trying to cut back, and is able just to get back to the 1-yard line, setting up a 4th and goal. And the lateral motion, that quick motion, handing the ball off to Ryder, certainly can fool you, but what happens often is you get penetration when you're moving laterally. And here good penetration by number 34, doing an excellent job. That's Manzier. And that lateral stuff, occasionally you blow a gap like that, you can make the big play defensively. Well, Providence wants to talk it over as they burn a timeout here to see what they want to do on 4th and goal, as you see Matt Seffner finishing his 35th year there at Providence. You know, when he started out there was nothing out there along Interstate 80. No houses, no anything, right? Now look at that area. Take a look at some of the information involving our schools. Pontiac from Livingston County in the Corn Belt Conference with Butch Cotter and Jim Drengwitz heading up the school there. One of the great athletic traditions. Great holiday basketball tournament at Pontiac. Meanwhile, for the Celtics of Providence in Will County out of New Lenox, out of the Catholic League, Father Richard McGrath, the president, and Don Sebastian, the principal. And there's a lot of good football played in that area. You've got the Lincoln Ways, so, you know, I mean, that's a hotbed of football down there. Yeah, Lincoln Way and Lincoln Way East. Exactly, and they split them up, and they're still good, both those schools. I asked Matt, you know, you're a young guy, 1968, you start there. I just stayed. Well, in his first few years, they had losing seasons, but, you know, I haven't seen a losing season for a long time. His first 3 years, Matt, was 2-21. Exactly. Perseverance, stuck with it. Some guys would have hung it up. Look what's happened. Here we go. Good play. 4th and goal from the 2. I think we're going to see a little bootleg off this. Cleveland. Big hit coming up was the safety, Jake Cunningham. And the ball will go over to the Indians on down. That's a big stop for the Indians defense. Big stop. Beautiful defense. And they had the power I formation. And that's what we're gonna have a chance to see this. The lead play, you got Ryder leading in there. Cleveland coming, but there's a big time hit right there by number 13. Beautiful hit by our Danny Mackinson. So deep in their own end, Michael Long hands it off and just giving a sure-handed handoff to Ryan Benning. Benning being recruited by some Division I schools as a receiver. In fact, they really have. They field 2 tailbacks in that Pontiac backfield. Well, they can use a first down here and eat the clock up. And we're at about 2:28 in running time. Need a first down. Big first down to keep the clock moving, and then they'll get the win in the second quarter. Providence ate up 5 minutes on that last drive as the call goes to Cunningham, who barrels through the right side.
Tackled on the play by Brian Kolzak, among others. Jake Cunningham committed to Purdue University. He's given a verbal commitment to become a Boilermaker. Kind of reminds me of former Boilermaker Mike Allstott, now with the Tampa Bay Ball Club in the NFL.
I know him well.
You see the line averages. Pontiac with the edge, an offensive line, over 225 pounds per man. 3rd and 2. And it's going to be close, up to about the 10-yard line. They needed to get it out past the 11.
They went with a single back set there. Tried to create some more running lanes, and we're going to probably get a measurement. Nope, timeout.
Pontiac is going to, as I should say, Providence will take its second timeout with 1.5 minutes to go here in the quarter, perhaps trying to save a little time for the wind to be at their back for the last minute and a half.
Because they've been running a lot of play-action passes, so he's like a chess player. He doesn't just think about one move. He's thinking about 2 or 3 moves before he loses the wind.
Hoping perhaps to get another short punt against that 30-mile-an-hour wind and give him a chance perhaps, as right now the Pontiac Indians, they've won their last 12. They lost the season opener to Morris and didn't play very well in their next game against Muhammad Seymour, but won it at overtime. And that's when Dave Young went to the seniors and said, all right, you're going to hang your heads because Mick Peterson can't coach you. You're going to go ahead and not live up to your expectations of what could have been a great year. After all, Pontiac's in the playoffs now for what, the 10th consecutive year. They're used to this.
Exactly. And it just goes to show you, if you persevere and stick with it and work hard, all these young men are now in a state championship football game. They can use a low punt that's on an angle, I think, here. Otherwise, they get it up in the air too much.
Malbach back in his own end zone with Peaser and Ryder back deep for Providence. And again, against that win, not a good one. Not a good one at all. And it's going to be at the 25-yard line, a 15-yard punt. And, you know, sometimes those punters get it into their heads. That wind's going to affect them, and I think that time Malbach did. There you take a look, 24th appearance for Providence. They've been in now 12 consecutive years. 7 titles, looking for number 8, including a stretch where they just dominated the competition, going 55-1 from 94 through 97.
And I remember that game. There were Bishop McNamara that broke the streak several years ago.
So Stanton's got him first down. Cleveland bottled up, gets to the 25-yard line, just back to the line of scrimmage, no gain.
And we talked about the Indians not giving Providence a short field, and they did that last series, but they really held up beautifully defensively, and if they can do it again here and force Providence to go to the air, that would really be a lift for the Indians.
They send Martin and Turkowski's in the game for the first time now at a wide receiver. He's their leading receiver, and Stanley wants to throw, and there is Turkowski for the touchdown. Turkowski, his 11th touchdown reception of the year, and the second touchdown, a 25-yard play.
And that's why Matt Sefner called a timeout when he did, just because of the next play or two. We still have 42 seconds left, and he was anticipating using that as Turkowski runs a pulse pattern. We'll have a chance to watch Stanton here. Again, a little play action fake, hides the ball behind the back. Deep pulse right over the middle, beautifully thrown, right on the cut, right on the money.
Turkowski had a 50-yard touchdown reception late in the first half against Rochelle last Saturday. That really broke the game open. The point after is good, and it's a 14-0 Providence lead late in the first quarter.
Good clock management, good execution by the Celtics.
You know, you go back to think about the 4th and 1. I suppose Sempner figured, even if I don't get it, I got them pinned deep in their own end, wind's at my back, and he looked several moves ahead on that.
Exactly.
Take a look now at Pontiac. They've got a great tradition in the playoffs. They're in the championship game for the second time, 11 total appearances, and as I mentioned now, for the 10th consecutive time, all-time record 21-9, and they won it all under Mick Peterson in 1993. That year, they defeated Waterloo 48-18 to finish a 13-1 season.
And to win 70% of your games in the playoffs, you know, that's really saying something, because All of them are good football teams.
That means you're getting deep into the playoffs.
No doubt about it. That's past history, and these are all new players, so this is, the coach is always thinking those terms, but it seems like, it's the juniors and seniors every year that have to reload. It's not like a college situation. You have new players out there.
A 14-0 lead for the Celtics as Bob Kelsey will come in and kick, and you take a look, the very quick scoring drive of just 25 yards, 2 plays with a 25-yard catch by Turkowski.
I'm sure the Indians are looking forward to getting a little wind at their back too, Tom.
That could even things out tremendously in the second quarter.
Got to hold on to the football, though. They have to play error-free football.
And dropping it at the end zone right there at the goal line. Looked like that was Jake Cunningham. Just went ahead and let it fall there at the goal line. Once the ball in a high school kickoff goes past the plane of the goal line, it's an automatic touchback.
Exactly.
It's automatic.
That's why it's great to have a good kicker, Tom. There are no run backs. You get an 80-yard field if you can put it in the end zone.
All right, Dave Young's trying to figure out, can Michael Long get this Indians tribe going? Big hole and a big gain of 9 yards for Cunningham. Great acceleration through that lane.
He did, and they looked like they had an unbalanced line that time with only 2 players to the left of center, trying to give Providence a look where they get an extra man on the ball side, carrier side, and they got a nice gain there. He's a strong runner, and, if Purdue recruits him, he's got to be a player.
I would think that the big brace on his leg with the second-degree tear of his MCL probably affects his lateral movement. Didn't look like it affected there where he ran straight ahead. Second and short. And that's Ryan Benning getting the first down up over the 30-yard line.
That's what they needed, a first down into the wind and move the sticks, move the clock, and then get the wind at their backs here and make a game out of this.
Just a couple of seconds left in the first quarter. And as they restart the clock, we've reached the end of the first quarter. After 1, Providence leads by 2 touchdowns. Now we'll hear from your local stations.
Beyond the Beltway with Bruce Dumont takes the political pulse of America. With his sense of fairness and balance, Bruce Dumont brings together a diverse and passionate panel which convey real-life experiences to the discussion of political, social, and cultural affairs. So tune in for Beyond the Beltway with Bruce Dumont every Sunday night at 10:30 right here on WICC TV 20.
Who are the City Colleges of Chicago? City Colleges, world-class educators in the field of medicine.
My transfer to a 4-year institution was seamless.
After graduation, my salary increased by 76%.
The City Colleges of Chicago has an 89% job placement rate. High-tech training you can afford.
The City Colleges of Chicago. Affordable academic excellence in a neighborhood near you.
Well, I suppose they say that cold is only a state of mind.
Well, coaches do this sometimes, and we're not sure if it's testosterone level or what.
Yeah, or something.
Something like that.
Ryan Benning on the carry as he gets it to the 36, gets a gain of 3 yards on the play.
Those baseball coaches are superstitious, but a lot of times your football coaches are also, Tom. A guy wears shorts, they're on a win streak, he just stays with it the rest of the season.
It'll be 2nd and 8. Now with the wind in his back, Michael Long, he can air it out, and it's overthrown. Looking for Buck Casson, his tight end. Let's go down to the sidelines and Lisa Prati.
Tom, I just happened to be with some of the players, the former players of Providence Catholic High School who won the Class 6A state title last year against Richards. Next to me is Matt Eggert, and you could do the introductions here because you got a lot of players right here.
This is Mike Buddy, the quarterback. Matt Gannon, defensive back, set a record for interceptions.
You got Billy O'Hare over here, defensive lineman, Joe Lenahan, outside linebacker, and Bert, the kicker, and defensive back.
Well, how does it feel to be able to come back here now and watch your team play?
It's great knowing that we have a championship to cheer these kids on. Hopefully that they'll get one and they'll get all the prestige that comes along with it.
So all the alumni are here, Tom, having a great time, and they're hanging in here with the weather too. Back to you.
And the great thing about being an alumnus, you can wear a sweatshirt and sweaters and everything and watch what you used to do out there, standing out there, as the interception from Mark Ryder has given Providence the ball at the Indian 45-yard line. And not much room at all there for Cleveland. Take a look again, Jim, as we watch that the quarterback, Long, can really air it out deep, but here he just overthrows it.
Well, he does, and, you know, the Indians are so excited to have the wins. Right away, they're going to the air game, you know, and sometimes the quarterback hasn't thrown that much. He has to get into sync. So they went for the long bomb, and you know, next time they have the ball, they might be hitting that shorter pass just to get his confidence up.
2nd and 10 from the 45 of Pontiac. Cleveland following his blocking and spins up as he gets it down to the 42-yard line, just following the block there of guard Jeremy Gahn. Don't forget, we've got 2 more games coming your way at 4 o'clock. The large schools, Class 8A, Lockport against Stevenson. And then Jim and I'll be back at 7 o'clock for the rematch from last year's 7A title game, Edwardsville and the Prospect Knights.
Who would have thought those 2 teams would be back here? Same 2 football teams.
3rd down and 7 for Providence. Darren Richler stops at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a yard as Mike Traynor getting off the bottom of the pile along with Aaron Vogt.
The Celtics tried to spread out Pontiac that time with 4 receivers with a 1-back set, but wound up inside. But a nice job once again by that front of the Indians, and they've held up quite well thus far.
2nd defensive stop for Pontiac. John Brown, who's punted only 22 times in their 13 games, punts for the first time in this one. And a fair catch taken at the 21-yard line on the return, Corey Imke.
And one of our keys was to play error-free football, and the Indians got away with one. They threw the interception, but did a nice job of with the defensive stand, and now let's see them put a drive together.
In our first game today, another championship for Mount Carmel as they roll up to a 31-0 win over Bloomington in the 6A championship game.
There's another program that's down here year in and year out, just like Providence Catholic.
Here is Cunningham being strung out and knocked down at the 20-yard line as coming over to make the stop from the secondary, from the linebacking position, Marty Marino.
Marty Marino is the leading tackler, and number 6 will be all over the field today for that 3-linebacker set. It was stretch play, and number 71's trying to do a great job of blocking, and Cunningham's weaving in and out, but the more you weave, the more time there is for pursuit. So that lateral stuff is tough because you have to sustain your blocks for such a long time period.
2nd and 10. Michael Long, the sophomore, on a screen as he finds Kaysen, and up ahead it goes. Make that to Ryan Benning on the screen. Benning up to the 30-yard line, and that's close to a first down. All right, they're hitting hard. Let's take you down for some of the sounds of the game.
Ooh, yeah. They've got the new plastic in those helmets, right?
That's football.
That's football.
That's football.
On a cold day, you can feel those more, too.
It's 3rd and 1 from the 29. And fighting his way for the apparent first down, Ryan Benning. Boy, he had to really power through as well.
Right, his guard, Nick Hibbs, was pulling there on an inside trap. Big play for him. Keep the sticks moving.
They get the first down and keep the drive going. 1st and 10 from the 31. And this is what Michael Long and the Indians need. Move the ball, get some confidence. As you take a look, welcome to Memorial Stadium. Tom Stalker, Jim Covert, Lisa Prati, our sideline commentator, on a windy, chilly day here on the campus of the University of Illinois. We're in the first half of the battle for the 5A state championship. Off the play action, in trouble is Long, and he is sacked back at the 18-yard line, and he is hit by Mike Barkman. 12-yard loss on the play. That defensive line for Providence was the big key in their shutout of Joliet Catholic, and they get their first sack today.
And it's coming right up the middle, and a beautiful job of rushing the passer. And of course, if you don't have enough time to throw the ball, there's no better pass defense than what you just saw right there, Tom. They've got the win, but they have to block.
Brings up 2nd and 22.
I'm not using them much because I didn't practice.
At the 35-yard line. It's incomplete. Pontiac fans looking perhaps for a flag, but none coming. Michael Long, as we mentioned, a sophomore, threw a touchdown pass in his first varsity pass attempt. That was against Metamora. Threw a touchdown to Cunningham, then came back and ran for a touchdown. Dave Young giving the side judge a little what for, maybe even a little what five. Toughest job
his
when you're one of those
body
referees.
heats up now anyway.
Sprint out pass for Long.
There was a collision there.
As he was looking for Cunningham, he also had another receiver down beyond Cunningham as well. He had 2 men open in that direction.
And Providence might have got away with one. There's a little unhappiness over there on the Indian side, a little contact before the ball got there. But it was a no call. Coach thought there should have been a flag on that one also.
So it'll bring up 4th down, and Doug Malbach will come in to punt. His 3rd punt of the day. First time with the win. And a line drive caught by Mark Ryder to the 45 and out of bounds just shy of midfield. And again, good field position for Providence, a 41-yard punt, and Ryder brought it back 10 yards.
He had a wall set up and he was trying to get to it. Nice job of filling the lanes defensively, covering the punt by the Indians.
The other thing, Jim, when you're taking on a team with the talent of a Providence, you got to get the breaks on the calls too. You need every break you can get.
Well, that's right. And you know, at this stage, Pontiac hasn't been error-free, but they're still in the ball game, and you need a break once in a while.
2-touchdown lead. Cleveland threads his way to the 47-yard line as he picks up 4 yards. Clay Cleveland, just a tough kid. Matt Sefner says he just has fun out there. You like that enthusiasm. It's infectious on the rest of your team.
I think a lot of the Providence players enjoy getting out there and running around and hitting people, just like on the other side of the ball. It's a fun game to play. This is a fun place to be right in the state finals. Bootleg.
Underthrown on the near sidelines at the 33, looking for Tim Turkowski, who started the year as a tight end, but Matt Sefner said he really wasn't blocking all that well. It turns out he may have the best hands of all the receivers, and he's come through with some big catches.
And the Celtics like that bootleg, and the receiver was open on that, but now they're throwing into that crosswind. That's the difference on that type of play.
It's an old Chicago tradition, loving that bootleg. Going back a long time from the 47, 3rd and 8. Stanton rolls out. He's got some room if he wants to run, and it's underthrown, looking for Mark Bennett down at the 32-yard line.
And Bennett ran the deep out pattern, and he was open, but again, the wind factor makes that a more difficult pass to throw. And actually, I think in the run-throw option situation there, you run the football. If it's, when you're into the wind, if you have a chance to break the containment, which it looked like Stanton did have a chance to run there.
Pontiac getting a little pressure as well on Stanton as well as Brown into punt for the second time.
Almost
and
blocked.
That one, he just got away, and it takes a Pontiac roll to the 32-yard line. And the Indians hanging in there, only a 15-yard punt. We'll take a timeout here at Memorial Stadium. Providence with a 2-touchdown lead. Back with more after this.
Are you going to make that call?
When you call Country Insurance and Financial Services, the unexpected will happen.
Hello, thank you for calling Country.
Hello? Who's this?
You'll actually talk to a real person.
I didn't think you'd answer as quickly.
Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
This is my country.
Bradco Supply and Owens Corning are proud sponsors of this year's IHSA football finals. Bradco salutes all the teams and players and reminds everyone to have a safe and happy holiday season. Chicago and be sure and catch Tim Maher, the big guys, Apple Chevrolet Prep Report, Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock on WJYS TV 62, Chicago. We think we got it tough in the booth. That's a long day out there.
The wind is blocking. We're blocked from the wind, but those guys are out there at all angles and doing a great job of giving a lot of different views of the game today.
I think they lost feeling in their hands and feet back in the Mount Carmel game, and they still got a couple to go.
They got those receiver gloves on.
Good work, guys. Doing a great job getting great pictures home here in this 5A championship game. 1st and 10, Pontiac looking for a score. Nice draw to Cunningham. And he rambles up to the 41-yard line.
First time they've run that draw. Good play.
He picked up 9 on the play, and that play set up nicely by the passing that Long was attempting when they had the win at their backs in this quarter.
And they came out with the, stretch the defense. They might try that a little bit more. Stretch the defense and run inside at the I formation again.
2nd and short. A little pitch back to Cunningham, but it's snuffed out. And coming in and dropping him for a loss, the linebacker, Marty Marino, coming in there.
Looked like Brian Peaser in there also. Number 5. Did a good job. That was a little trap option, something new. We haven't seen that play either. Pontiac's still experimenting. They've got their list of plays, and going to go through them all and see what looks good against the Celtics defense.
Big 3rd down conversion opportunity here for the Indians. Penalty markers thrown. That one thrown incomplete. And let's sort out the marker. Thrown right at the snap of the football.
A lot of pressure also, once again, on Michael Long.
Somebody left early motion against Pontiac, and it'll cost them 5.
That really changes the play call from a 3rd and 2.5 to 3rd and 8.
Providence took the play.
Yep, that's smart.
Was out at practice the other day with Matt Seffner, and you'd think you look at these dominant programs like Providence, and you think they have all the fancy equipment and everything, and just an open field. Some guys had duct tape on their shoes. But Matt was he was in hog heaven out there in that snow. Line drive punt back at the 25. Being strung out. And, whoa, what a tackle out of bounds. Brian Peaser taken hard out of bounds on the near sidelines. A 34-yard punt, 11-yard return. Watch that again.
Michael Carls really makes a nice play, number 58, in covering the punt. We'll have a chance to take a look at this. He's got the wall, and he's broken contained, but was going to get inside out. Beautiful job of pursuing there by Carls. Great hustle. He's playing both sides of the football.
Has come on to become a two-way player this year. 1st and 10 for Providence. And Cleveland follows the blocking for a couple of yards to the 37-yard line.
And on that particular play, Carl's submarine that gap and kind of stacked things up again. So he's having a good game as a defensive end.
For the most part, lately, since the first drive, the Indians' defense has done a very good job bottling up the inside and maintaining Cleveland. But that's a full-time job. And you never know when he might bust one. 2nd and 8. And there's Cleveland getting outside, and he stumbles out of bounds near the first down marker. Looks like he has the first down out over the 45-yard line, a pickup of 8.
And Darren Rischler, number 44 in the backfield, he's used as a blocker. He's run for a couple hundred yards, but Providence always comes up with that kind of a fullback type, linebacker type of person who's like another blocker in the backfield, like an offensive guard who can actually get to carry the ball once in a while.
Providence right now averaging nearly 6 yards a snap. They've already gained 154 yards of total offense. 1st and 10. Off the play fake. Wide open is Mark Bennett. Bennett taken down at the 7-yard line, and closing strong to make that touchdown-saving tackle was Jake Cunningham.
And, you know, watching the line play there, they pulled 2 linemen on that particular play. You'll see both linemen pulling here, making it look like they're going for the running play, uncovered, out. And some of your safeties will read linemen, so they see linemen pulling, and there's a beautiful ball thrown right in stride into the wind, as a matter of fact.
What a job by Cunningham with a torn MCL. You saw him just close quickly on Mark Bennett. 1st and goal, Cleveland, touchdown, Providence.
There's a stretch play that really got stretched. Excellent play. Cleveland really showed some speed there to the outside.
3rd touchdown of the day for Providence, a 6-yard run for Clay Cleveland, who gets his 30th touchdown of the year.
And we're
30 touchdowns for Cleveland, and he is up over 2,000 yards for the year. Is the point after attempt. The kick by Andrew Hopkins is good, and with just under 3 minutes to go in the first half, Providence leading by the score of 21-0.
And we'll have a chance here on the stretch play to see Cleveland get the ball. And we got great blocking, good hook blocking, 75 there. Again, 44 is lead fullback, Darren Rischler, turning everybody to the inside. And that's why he had almost no opposition to the outside. Everybody got good hook blocks here.
Well, that was the same running style that was so very effective against Rochelle. Rochelle last weekend in the semis bottled Cleveland and Providence up inside, but couldn't match up with them on the perimeter in Cleveland. When he gets to that corner, he can be tough. You see the scoring drive went 65 yards, 4 plays, and a very brief 1 minute and 15 seconds.
And that play-action pass really set things up, and Providence is showing quite a bit of balance offensively here, and that was into the wind also.
Yesterday for the 2A, a great overtime battle, Aledo beating Carthage. Then South Beloit exploded late to defeat El Paso. In the 4A battle, Addison Driscoll wins for a 2nd straight year. And in the 3A, Immaculate Conception out of Elmhurst came from behind for its first state championship ever. I was up in Elmhurst earlier in the week. Boy, they had signs everywhere up there. You know,
that's great.
Normally that's your country up there, but the Knights captured the spirit up there in the state championship.
And Addison Driscoll is really an next-door neighbor.
Yep, great.
A lot of good football being played up in that area.
21-0 in favor of the Celtics. Not a bad idea against the wind for that bouncing kick being returned by Kevin Billington. And he's up to the 37, 38-yard line, an 18-yard return.
Well, Pontiac needs to put something together, Tom. They've been showed some signs of, running good play here. That draw looked good last series. Just need to put a few of them together now.
Yeah, you got the win at your back. Not bad field position here from the 38-yard line.
Position. Good field position.
Michael Long. Changing the play at the line. Cunningham hurdles through the left side, and he is up to the 41-yard line. Picks up 3.
I would imagine the footing's pretty good out there, too, with this type of surface.
This new turf is outstanding.
And
of
it's
course,
getting its use, Tom.
Well, and the state tournament, plus the Bears,
right.
Of course, is the reason why they were thinking of going to grass, but decided that they had to go with this new high-tech artificial surface here at Memorial Stadium because of all the use it was going to get.
And it's just as good a surface today as it would be for an Illini game or the Chicago Bears, and we've got 8 games in a row. So on a day like this, it's nice to see the kids have good footing out there.
Cunningham bouncing off a blocker, but is bottled up for a gain of a yard at the 42-yard line. Kyle Pavlik in there on the stop, along with Brian Kolzak. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
Indians running a lead play with a fullback, but excellent defense here. Providence is getting stingy. You have to realize that Providence Catholic has only given up 13 points in the first half all season.
All season long.
Have you ever heard of
that? Sprinting out, Michael Long. Just off the fingertips at the 45-yard line as he was looking for Cunningham.
And Jake Cunningham is a multi-dimensional player. He runs a draw. Now he's out as a wide receiver and ran a deep sideline pattern. He'll be doing quite a bit of that at Purdue, I'm sure. They love to throw the ball all over the place, sir.
Takes, what, about 6 months to memorize that playbook there? Over the Boilermaker. They got every play in the book over there. Ball back, his 4th punt. It sails over Ryder's head, and oh my goodness, that is inside the 1-yard line, it looks like. It's at the 6-inch line. 57 yards. I wish I can get my drives to do that on the golf course.
You mean you slice like that?
Oh, with the best of them.
What a kick. That's the angle. Perfect angle. And you know, now the Indians come up and try to strip that ball. They've got a good situation going here. So the kicking game really, let's see if it pays off for the Pontiac Indians here as the Celtics come out of the huddle.
Well, this is a reversal of the first quarter when Pontiac was deep in its own end, and it led to the 2nd touchdown for the Celtics. Cleveland, nothing fancy, straight ahead, maybe a yard to the 2-yard line. On the stop, Aaron Vogt, number 51, 4-year defensive starter.
Aaron Vogt's a co-captain, playing both sides of the football. Just a real tough football player.
You know, Cleveland does as good a job as I've seen of any running back reading the blocks well. However, as Matt Sepner says, he reads them well. He just doesn't block very well. Pontiac needs something to happen here with 1:08 to go. Give them something to feel good about going into the locker room at halftime.
Most definitely. And this is the thing about Providence. They get you kind of down in the dumps. And I don't think that's going to happen today, because in a state championship game, this is often the last time a senior will ever play football. Not too many of these guys go on and, you know, play college football. We'll talk about the Cunningham and that type of situation. But 90% of your high school seniors aren't going to, they'll play intramural football, and they'll be in a turkey bowl like you and I would do on Terrell Ligament on Thanksgiving when they're older.
You had to bring up the turkey bowl.
Look at that win, Tom.
I couldn't even play special teams because the coach said there was nothing special about the way I played. Boy, the wind gusting today here at Memorial Stadium.
I don't even, is that a gale or a gust? It's steady.
The gales of November, I've heard in a song. It is 2nd down and 9. And Cleveland bounces outside. Spun down at the goal line. They're going to say he was down at the 1. It was Cunningham who came up from his safety position to spin Cleveland down. You saw Cleveland bounce off the tackle of Joseph, the block of Joe Cerullo.
We'll see. The bounce out right here, and you're going to see support from the outside right at the goal line, and that was awful close to being a safety. Really a nice tackle too.
And it'll bring up a third down. And
another chance to look at that bounce out. Saying sometimes that's what a good back should do, but that's just really good defense. That was a good job of the running back bouncing it, but great pursuit and people coming up and filling those lanes.
As you saw, that's exactly what Cleveland does so well, bouncing off the blockers, finding something, but that's a big-time play from Jake Cunningham.
And working backwards, the reason he had to bounce it was because that front of the Indians is getting some penetration. They really are.
Do you think both teams are really happy that the NFL heat benches are there, huh?
Well, I know their feet are probably a little warmer than ours, and you know your hands and your feet are the two most important things as far as being a football player. The rest of that body is pretty warmed up.
Yeah, but unfortunately Al Michaels and Summerall took theirs with them when they left the booth after the Monday night game here. Each team with a timeout left. That votes. Cleveland getting outside. He's close to a first down by the time as he was corralled down by Buck Casson. Also over on the stop, Corey Imke.
We're going to get
another timeout.
Measurement. That was a big play.
I think he's just shy of the first down. Looks like by perhaps half the length of the football.
Well, Matt Seffner, I think, will probably play conservative and kick it, obviously, in this situation. If they don't get it, that's how important a few inches is.
First down stick showed they had to get the ball out across the 11, the ball right at the 11 right here. If I don't get this one right, they'll never let me forget it in the truck.
I'll get the binoculars out. Short.
All right, Matt Seffner.
Not by much.
Facing the stiff 25-mile-an-hour wind.
What's Matt talking about, the spot?
I think he's talking about the way they stretch the chain out.
Yeah. Always coaching. 52 seconds left.
Always working the guys in the stripes. Now Pontiac will take its final remaining timeout with 52 seconds remaining in the quarter. And they're going to discuss very quick. Coach against either one of these two teams?
Actually, no. We're, you know, I coached against the larger schools, and I don't know if I would have wanted to play Providence Catholic this year. I'll tell you that, even when I had some of my better teams. My guys won't like me saying that, but I can remember also being in the state finals. I'll tell you how long ago it was, Tom. 76. We lost to St. Lawrence in overtime. It was 9 degrees, and they said about 30-degree wind chill. So I do remember this type of day for a football game.
That was over at Hancock Stadium at Illinois State University.
And we lost in overtime, so it was a double dose.
John Brown back in his own end zone. You're going to see Pontiac. They've split that. They've really spread that defensive line up, looking for the block, but no, Brown doesn't get much of the football, and it's out of bounds.
And that's how important those couple inches were, Tom. I mean, you know, the Indians have enough time to get on the board here. 46 seconds.
All the way up to the 25-yard line, and Pontiac, after just a 15-yard punt by Brown, this is their opportunity here to get something on the board.
Exactly, and when we saw the Pontiac punter punt like that, everybody was thinking, oh, what a horrible punt, but it's the situation, it's the weather, and now that 1 or 2 inches on the measurement might make a real difference there for the Indians. They need to take advantage of this opportunity.
Out of the long snap. Pass tipped over the middle and falls incomplete at the 21-yard line.
Well, they were trying to hit the receiver coming underneath on a little drag pattern, but there's a lot of linebackers in that area. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if they tried to throw the ball to the corner. Let that wind work with them. run a post corner route or throw it to the corner and let it receiver work the field a little bit more.
Again out of the shotgun, Michael Long overthrows. Boy, tight coverage there by the strong safety, Matt McDermott. The intended receiver, Danny Mackinson. And I tell you what, I think what's been overlooked perhaps has been the job on pass defense that this Providence defense has done today.
Well, they just have played excellent defense all year on all sides. I mean, you don't hold people to 13 points and a half without having the whole package. Front linebackers and secondary.
3rd and 10. As the wind rolls the football away from center Andy Busher.
4 wideouts. Wins on both sides.
It's complete at the 18 to Mackinson, and he's out of bounds at the 17-yard line, shy of the first down. It'll bring up 4th down.
Stops the clock with the sideline pattern, but they need to get to the stick here on 4th down.
Mackinson there had a huge 4th down catch against Olympia in the first round with less than a minute to go. They were down by 7, but eventually caught the pass that tied the game and sent it into overtime, where obviously Pontiac won it. All right, here we go. 4th down, 32 seconds to go in the half. Michael Long.
Same pattern.
Look for Mackinson, threw it wide. Brian Pizor covering on the play, and the ball goes over on downs. And that's got to hurt over on the Pontiac side.
Well, it does, and you know, there's a lot of plays you could call. They went back to the well because they had success last play. The positive thing about the idea was it would have, you know, saved time on the clock, but now it's a mute point.
So let's see what the Celtics do with the remaining 29 seconds in this first half. Cleveland hit first by cornerback Nick Meister up to the 20-yard line, picking up a gain of 3.
And that's probably going to be
That's going to be it?
Yep. Play Cleveland.
There you go, a little blood on the arm.
Yep, looked like a football player. Held on to the ball well, too. That's the key. Some of these guys who bounce out like Clay does, there's some of his linemen coming off. He's got to buy those guys burgers and his lead back, too, huh?
Hopefully they got the bonfires stoked in the locker rooms for halftime here, and they won't exactly be roasting marshmallows. They're looking to get themselves nice and toasty warm and ready for another half of football. Let's head down to the sidelines and Lisa.
Tom, I'm here with Coach Steffner, and Coach, 3 touchdowns in the first half, and your defense is very effective right now against Pontiac.
Right, you know, thank goodness this is not the day to play football. Everybody calls this football, weather's nuts. It's just unbelievable. You know, we're really, you know, we're playing, you know, very well at times, and at other times we're not playing very well at all. And you know, I felt we should be able to move the ball a little bit better on the ground, but they're really doing a great job stuffing our run. And as you can see, that's what the play action stuff really worked big. And 2 of our 2 passes where we got the ball down in scoring position.
I mean, in your opinion, is the weather really affecting your team overall?
I think it is. I think it's affecting both teams. You know, it's really cold, and you know, the kids they're not as fluid and as loose as they should be. Okay.
Thanks, Coach Steffner. Definitely not weather you normally play in for high school football. Back to you, Tom.
Not loose and fluid up here either. It's but that's just the way it. You know, we get those advanced years, the joints don't move as well. 21-0 the score is the Celtics of Providence lead it at halftime. We'll be back after we hear from your local stations.
Hello, I'm Wayne Watson, Chancellor of the City Colleges of Chicago. At the City Colleges, we are committed to providing a high-quality education to those who want to improve their lives and their futures. Take it from one of our graduates.
Hi, I'm Ray Vasquez, Commissioner for the Chicago Department of Human Services. And I am just probably like many other young people who were thinking about what am I going to do after high school and what Truman College did for me was really set the direction for how I was going to proceed with my future in terms of not only finishing my associate's degree, but then going on for my undergrad and postgrad degrees.
We have more than 212 programs, everything from child development, physician's assistant, welding, nursing, liberal arts, GED, or English as a second language. Call us at the 773 college number. Your path to progress is at the City Colleges of Chicago.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Providence Catholic in the lead, 21-0 against Pontiac. We are at the half right now, and joining me are the Pontiac cheer.
No, I just lost him too.
I can't hear him.
Guys, take over real quick upstairs.
We've got a technical problem with that microphone, and Lisa will get it back down to you as soon as we can get a new battery in that wireless microphone. This cold weather takes an effect on the battery,
Matt
too.
Seffner mentioned it. It's really not good football weather, and he was very, I liked him admitting that. You know, you'd think a football coach might say something else, but hey, it's the same for both teams. That's all you can say.
Over the years, this time of the year, Jim, it could be in the 60s, or it could be as we got it today.
Yeah.
All right, Lisa, you got the equipment taken care of, a fresh battery, and take it away.
For this game.
Well, we just had to get the girls ready to go, ready to cheer even louder so we can get all of our crowd and our squad ready to go. Our crowd is more spread out and it's a lot larger than normal, so we have to be extra loud. We have a few extra stunts and things like that ready to go to get everybody into it and ready to get pumped up.
Now, I know this was a short week for you, but what did you do knowing that you were coming downstate at school, maybe to get the faculty together as well as the students?
We all went in during our study halls at school, made signs, put those all up all over the school. Last night we had a pep rally with all the community, the faculty, staff, everybody was there to cheer on the guys, get them all ready for tonight. We all had our football dinner before to kind of give the guys some food and get them.
Well, everybody's ready to go. Everybody's ready to go. They all sat down with Thanksgiving turkey, so now they're all ready to cheer. And you guys are doing a wonderful job over there getting everybody involved, even though the weather's as cold as it is.
It's hard trying to get everybody to get up off their feet and try to forget the cold and start cheering and focus on the guys instead of being cold.
Hopefully we're going to get you up off your feet right now because these cheerleaders are ready to go. So Pontiac High School, take it away.
We're doing time.
Wonderful job. They are definitely not losing their voice as much as I am with this cold weather. You guys, great job. Good luck in the second half. Pontiac High School, Katie Weavers is the captain there. Now also joining me is the Assistant Executive Director here at the IHSA, Jim Flynn. And Jim, we keep talking about this weather. We're not used to playing in weather like this.
No, we're not, Lisa, and I think it's a tribute to the staff here at the University of Illinois that the games have gone on without a hitch whatsoever. In fact, everyone's having a lot of fun, even though they're cold. This is the coldest we've had in the football playoffs since Metamora had Larry Summer in the famous Ice Bowl with Geneseo and Wayne Strader. But the new turf here at the Memorial Stadium makes the playing field great for the athletes. If the fans watching on TV see the players sitting in these white benches on the sidelines, those are what the Bears have. They're a bench warming. They're a bench that warms you, and so when the players come off the field, they're warm and they're ready to go back in the ballgame.
Talk a little bit about this tournament and how different this is this year compared to last year, just because of the way the teams are placed this year in classes, as well as it being flip-flopped on Friday and Saturday with what team runs first.
What we wanted to do in the quadrant system was to pair teams geographically like we did in the first 15 years of the football playoffs. where the neighborhood rivalries were replayed. Sometimes the teams play one another during the regular season because they're in the same conference or in the same city and they play one another. But the idea was to have the teams in the local areas claim the bragging rights, and then we advance teams from geographic areas of the state to the championship games. And it appears to have worked well, like it did in the early years of the football playoffs. And then the other part of the question was. With
the classes, in a sense, with the games being flip-flopped, instead of going 1 through 4 on Friday and 5 through 8, they're flip-flopped this year.
Yeah, our advisory committee made a really, I think, personally, a great recommendation in that regard. It keeps the same teams from having to play the first game on Friday or the first game on Saturday, so those would always be the teams that would have to come and spend the night before the first game, and it also saves keeps the same team from having to play the very last game on Friday night or Saturday night and get home early the next morning. And it works out well. It's a little confusing for our fans, but I think that once they get into it, we just flip-flop 1A and 2A every other year. So, 1 year you'll play first, and the next year you'll play second.
I understand. And what I do understand, which I just heard, is congratulations, because you are now the grandfather of twins?
Twin daughters. Yeah, it is. They won't play football, but they'll probably play volleyball and basketball in the IHSA. In 1952, the Judson twins were stars for the Hebron boys basketball team, and about 18 years from now, the fabulous Flynn twins will be stars for probably Bloomington High School.
Well, congratulations. That's wonderful. Assistant Executive Director here at the IHSA, Jim Flynn. Believe it or not, we are going to go to a local break, but we have more still coming up with the Providence Catholic cheerleaders up next. We'll be back right after this.
It's snowing.
Are you looking for quality television? Then turn to Channel 20 and discover a world of quality family programs. You'll find educational and children's programming, specials, and original WICC productions. If you enjoy innovative television, contribute $35 and receive 1 year of our monthly program guide. In addition, you can receive an exclusive WICC premium gift when you contribute more.
For contributions and to become a member, call 773-838-7878 or visit our website at www.wycc.org.
Contribute today so that we may continue to improve our 2020 vision.
Back to Memorial Stadium. There is 5 minutes left on the clock in the half, and Providence Catholic is in the lead 21-0. Now joining me is Providence Catholic's cheerleaders, and they have been doing such a spectacular job today in this cold weather. The captains are Shannon Klimek and Natalie DeVecchio, and they are right here. Tell us a little bit about how this past week has been. I realize it's been a short week, but what have you done to prepare for this?
We've been doing a lot of practices with the pond team also for our halftime that we just performed out there, which has been very hectic, but we all came together as a team and did it. So.
What have you done anything really different though this year? Because you guys were down here last year. You won the 6A state title against Richard, so you're used to being down here.
Yeah, we really didn't do anything different this year. We were excited to be back again, especially winning over JCA. But we've practiced hard, but it's good to be here.
Well, have those pretty much been the two toughest games? Is the ones against Joliet Catholic? I mean, you really got revved up for that.
Very much so. That was kind of like the whole team worked to get the whole crowd into those games. So.
And I'm sure you're not having a problem doing that here today, because I can see where the fans are located in the first 4 or 5 rows there. You guys are doing a great job of just basically having them stand up the entire game.
Thank you very much.
Right, now you have to do a spectacular cheer right now. This is from Providence Catholic High School, and they're set and ready to go.
Thank you.
Take these off.
Providence Catholic, the green, the white, Celtics, fans yell, fight Celtics, fight! Fight Celtics, fight! Come on! Fight Celtics, fight!
Providence Catholic Catholic cheerleaders right now. We are still at the half, 21-0 in favor of Providence Catholic. We will be back right after these local messages.
When you really want to know what's going on in the world, you want to watch the leader in world news, BBC World News, broadcast only on Channel 20.
Who are the City Colleges of Chicago?
City Colleges, world-class educators in the field of medicine.
My transfer to a four-year institution was seamless. After graduation, my salary increased by 76%.
The City Colleges of Chicago has an 89% job placement rate. High-tech training you can afford.
The City Colleges of Chicago. Affordable academic excellence in a neighborhood near you.
Celtics of Providence have the lead 21-0 at halftime on a cold, blustery, and now you can add snow to the mixture here at Memorial Stadium. Tom Stocker, Jim Covert with you up here in the booth, and Providence right now, after that first half, they have now outscored their opponents 392-13 in the first half this season. Amazing.
Really is amazing. And we heard from Matt Seffner, and he said it's cold out there. We all knew that, and he says it's affecting both teams. He gave quite a bit of credit to the Pontiac Indians' defensive front in bottling up the running game, and actually it was the play-action pass time that really set up a couple of Providence's touchdowns.
Well, I think a lot of people came into the game saying that Providence is going to run, especially with the conditions, but give them credit. Matt said, the wind's at my back. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of it. Take a look and see the edge they have statistically in this ball game in the first half. Right there, the big edge is in the passing game. 138 yards to 17 for Providence.
And, you know, you look at time of possession and you would think, well, it looks pretty even, but 21 points. And, you know, let's face it, Providence has really just been playing great defense, both sides of the ball, just like they have all season long. They've yielded only 34 yards on the ground and 17 in the air. And, you know, that's really, like, you know, that's why they are here with the kind of team they have, because they play great defense.
Total yards adding up 220 yards for Providence to 51 yards. Take a look in terms of third and fourth down conversions, and Providence still predominantly a running game, 25 carries, but very effective passing by Nick Stanton.
And neither team is real excited about their third down conversions, you know, and we saw Pontiac really stop the Celtics a couple times on critical situations. The thing is, can they score any points? That's the big issue.
And one of the things, Jim, in the ballgame was a lot of people were talking about Michael Long. The fact is that he brought a different dimension to Pontiac with his ability to throw the deep ball, but they haven't been able to throw the ball very well right now.
No, that's true. And you know what? When they did get the win at their back, they went to the long bomb early and it got picked. So in the second half, I like that draw play. Spread them out and maybe run some draws to Cunningham, because he's a heck of a running back.
Well, let's go down to our sidelines and Lee Hall.
All right, Tom, thanks a lot. We are with Dave Young, interim head coach at Pontiac. What did you tell your team at halftime, Coach?
I just told our team that we didn't play very well. We let guys behind us. We're not executing on offense. You know, we just have not played the way we have played, and our goal this half is to come out and play the way we've been playing up to this point. We've just not execute on either side of the ball, and by not lining up right, not getting up the line and going. And I don't know whether it's nerves or whatever, but we're gonna play better football this half.
You talked a lot last week about senior leadership. This team's overcome so many obstacles this year. Can they overcome 21-0?
Well, I don't know, but I'll guarantee you we're going to be giving the ball to our seniors this second half, and seeing whether they've got the pride I know they have in them.
All right, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Go get them. Thanks a lot. By the way, Coach says he's not cold. He's just very mad. Back to you guys.
I suppose then you can turn around and say, don't get cold, get even.
I can see your breath.
snowing out there, folks. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half as we get ready for the second half here. As we take a look at the first touchdown, first drive of the game for Providence, and they take the early lead.
And here's the play action, hiding the ball behind the back and going for the deep post. Really hits right on the money, and there was that play action with the wind on that one.
The touchdown pass to Turkowski. Now we watch here quarterback Michael Long on the sprint out, and he's looking down the near sidelines, and with the wind at his back, still didn't quite have enough, as underthrown, looking for Mackinson, Ryder with the interception.
And that, of course, sets up the play-action pass for the touchdown, and then the stretch play with great hook blocking, and Clay Cleveland racing to the corner of the end zone to culminate that drive.
So there you see, 21-0 in favor of Providence with one half of football to go here in the 5A battle. Folks, we'll be back after we hear from your local stations.
What is Europe? Europe is reality. Borders are falling away. People coming together. The idea comes to life. European Journal, the magazine show from Brussels.
Sunday evenings here on WYCC TV 20.
Who are the City Colleges of Chicago?
City Colleges, world-class educators in the field of medicine. My transfer to a four-year institution was seamless.
After graduation, my salary increased by 76%.
The City Colleges of Chicago has an 89% job placement rate. High-tech training you can afford.
The City Colleges of Chicago. Affordable academic excellence in a neighborhood near you.
Getting ready for the third quarter here at Frosty Memorial Stadium on the campus of the University of Illinois in Champaign. Providence with a 3-touchdown lead, and you know Pontiac has got to rebound hard after that disappointing lack of scoring when they had that chance there very late, the last minute of the second quarter.
I'm sure David Young was telling his young men in the locker room too, Tom, that, you know, this is it, guys. It's your last half of football for all you seniors. Go out and play hard. Keep up the good defensive play in the pit. And, you know, Providence Catholic is looking at just the opposite situation.
But take a look at the back of those jackets. There you see the tradition that
no
those
doubt.
Celtics have to live up to. You take a look on the backside, they'll list all their state. There you go, right there. 2001 state champs. Others have jackets from 94 and 95 and 96. Matt took me into their gymnasium where they have 21 state championship banners for all sports at Providence. I mean, that's a tradition.
Just a great tradition.
You know, kids in that area dream of wearing that green uniform when they're growing up.
No doubt about it. And
the same way kids at Pontiac dream about wearing the orange jersey,
exactly,
the blue jersey.
And they've been in 10, 11 years in a row now, and that's what, you know, those 6th graders, 4th graders, 5th graders who are playing the youth football, they go out and watch this stuff or watch it on television and say, that's where I want to be. Providence is going to kick off with the wind at their back.
Bob Kelsey in to kick, getting a little assistance there from Frank Edgeworth. And we're underway in the third quarter. That one sails into the end zone, automatic touchback, and the Indians will put it into play from the 20-yard line.
That would have made it in the end zone from the pro mark, wouldn't it, today?
That's the other factor that is exciting. I read articles from all the teams coming here, and you take a look at, hey, this is the team, this is the place where Illinois plays, it's where the Bears play. You know, Monday Night Football is here, the Bears and the Packers. It's an exciting way to wind up a career, wind up a season. Dave Young looking on. He needs something out of this offense, and he needs it in a hurry. Cunningham had a hole, but it closed up very quickly for a gain of maybe a couple of yards. In there, Matt McDermott on the stop, along with Mike Barkman and others.
And, of course, one of the team leaders out there, Marty Marino. He's always around the football, number 6.
2nd and 8 from the 22 for Pontiac. And again, they are going against the wind here in this third quarter. They go out of the single back formation. They bring the flanker around. That's Cunningham from that wing back position, and he is strung out and stopped for a loss of a yard on the play. As coming over, Mike Stevens to make the stop, along with Kyle Pavlik.
Good misdirection there, but again, when you're moving laterally, if you don't fake them out and people stay at home, the team speed in pursuit of the Providence Celtic defense is exceptional.
To bring up a 3rd and 10 for Pontiac, and this is what Providence's defense wants to see. Force them to go to a throwing game against that stiff breeze.
Might come out with that draw play again. They had some success earlier.
They go with the spread formation, and they throw the screen, but rushed was Michael Long as he was looking in the general direction of Ryan Benning, but he was hurried and had to get rid of that ball in a very quick motion.
That's the second time they've run that play to Ryan Benning, that screen pass, and they gained some yardage the first time. And they're going to be forced into doing just what they didn't want to do, punt into the wind and give Providence a short field.
Doug Malbeck, who had his problems punting against the wind in the first quarter, will kick it against the wind again. This one, a nice low line drive taken by Ryder, who gives ground and is able to get back just about to the yard line where he first caught the punt. Nice stop on the play by the special teams for Pontiac, a 28-yard kick and just a 1-yard return. Nice stop there by Pontiac's Mitch Beecher.
Big number 77. Did a nice job of getting in that wall, because they had a wall set up, the Celtics did, but Beecher got in the wall and made the play.
So Providence will have excellent field position again for the most part today. They've had great field position.
Yes, they have.
There was a holding penalty on the run back. Okay.
Except right before the half, which we talked about that situation when the Celtics were down on their own 1-foot line and had to punt out of that situation.
And unfortunately, Pontiac couldn't capitalize as they march it back to the 44-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10.
We'll find out for sure.
Long count for Nick Stanton. Faked to both running backs, and he keeps it and dives ahead to the 48-yard line, a gain of 4, tackled on the play by Michael Carls, who came over from his defensive end position.
They like the play action, and again, we saw it in the first half with the wind at their back. They got after it right away and went to the play action, and that was smart not to throw the ball because the coverage was real good that time.
Stanton wasn't real confident early with his passing ability. Release wasn't quite where they wanted it, but he really improved and came on strong towards the end of the year. Stanton passing for 1,500 yards coming into the game today. 2nd and 6. Cleveland with blocking into Pontiac territory to the 48, a 5-yard pickup.
Well, there you got a lot of people coming in front of you if you're Clay Cleveland. You've got your Joe Cirillo and Jeremy Gaughan, and you got both linemen pulling here, as you'll see on the replay. Double lineman and a lead back right up in the, and he's got a lot of running room in there.
I mean, you got 6'3", 308 Joe Cirillo, the leader of that offensive line, big number 65 leading the way.
He's 300 pounds, Tom.
He blots out the sun, if there was sun.
He really is.
From the 48, 3rd and 2. Again, the play action fake. Stanton throws complete to the tight end, Dan Bland. Out of bounds inside the 39-yard line. And a 1st down for the Celtics.
And they repeated the same type of play with both linemen, the guard and tackle pulling, and that's the play that they hit the long bomb on before. But as you'll see, a good misdirection. We get a chance to look from behind the huddle here. There's a double pull by the guard and tackle in the bootleg, and he elects to go to the short receiver, number 89, on a quick out pattern, and Bland.
Stanton's throwing like it's August 2-a-days out there.
Kidding.
He's 7 for 9. Here's Cleveland. Cuts away. He breaks free near sidelines. Out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Stopping the touchdown, Jake Cunningham. Boy, Purdue's going to get a good one in Cunningham.
Well, they are. And, you know, Cleveland's going to actually break this thing back along his wall. Did a great job of staying with his blockers. You have a chance here to see this, the cutback and this run. And Cleveland, as he runs a cutback, he'll have a see the wall. He just forms right along his wall there. And I'd like to clear the telestrator. There you go. Beautiful job of making something happen because he was patient.
First and goal from the 7. Stanton throwing into the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown.
Boy, they made that look easy, didn't they?
Mike Stevens on the touchdown reception, his first catch of the ball game.
And well, Stevens, number 87, off this bootleg once again, finds the back of the end zone. Here we have the play action pass again, bootleg off, tight end coming across. Perfect job of looking the ball, and boy, he sure concentrated on that ball, didn't he? Looked right into his hands.
The point after is good from Andrew Hopkins, and it's a 4-touchdown lead for the Celtics. They lead 28-0 here in the third quarter. Now we'll hear from your local stations.
This is my country. These are my people. This is the world I understand.
It's not just talking about service. It's really knowing the people we serve.
Know them like the back of my own hand.
Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
The 2002 IHSA Girls Volleyball Champions have been crowned, and the exciting title matchups are coming your way on the AT&T Broadband Network Monday, December 9th at 7 p.m. 2.5 hours of championship volleyball, beginning with the Class A battle, Mount Pulaski against Wheaton St. Francis, followed by the AA championship battle between Barrington and Downers Grove South. Additional airings and channels locations do vary, so be sure to log on to AT&TBroadbandNetwork.com for scheduling and channel information in your area. Big hill for the Indians to climb. They're down by 28. Providence scoring 56 yards, just 1:47 seconds, with Stevens getting the 7-yard touchdown reception. Bob Kelsey's kickoff, and that's going to sail through the end zone.
Almost through the uprights.
Let's head down to the sidelines, and Lisa.
I am on Pontiac's side, and even though this is not the game they were anticipating against Providence Catholic, they still have not lost their spirit here. I have Kyle here, who is a sophomore, and you guys have been trying to get to every one of these games, right?
I have.
And what are you doing today? I mean, I see the blankets and everything, but come on, have you guys been up and cheering your team on?
It's cold out, even you know it. It's cold.
It's been really cold, but we've got a great group of people here. We've got girlfriends and boyfriends on the team. We've got Ryan Benning's brother here, so the excitement is right here, as well as I've got Kevin here, who is a soon-to-be Pontiac football player. Am I right?
Yes.
Why do you want to play football for Pontiac?
Because it's fun.
It's fun? It's fun, and they're doing a great job, and they made it all the way downstate. Tom, back to you.
Thanks, Lisa. Mike Barkman of Providence recovers the fumble at the tail end of this play on a bad pitch off of the shoulder pad of Cunningham. Barkman came up with it at the 15, and that's where the Celtics put it in play as Clay Cleveland brought down at the 14-yard line, a gain of 1.
Well, that turnover was very unfortunate for the Indians. They actually went to the option, and, you know, option's high-risk football, and on the pitch, lost control, and a nice recovery. Heads-up play by Barkman.
2nd out of 9 for Providence, with both Darren Richler, Clay Cleveland in the I formation backfield. Here is Stanton. He's going to keep it. He tucks it, and he runs out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Well, I tell you, Michael Carl's had a beat on him, and somehow Stanton just slipped right by him.
Well, and that's smart to run with that football. That is a run-throw option. We mentioned it earlier as we have a chance to look at this from the end zone view. And the I formation, little misdirection, bootleg. Guys are covered downfield, and Stanton makes a real good decision to keep that football. Look at that peel back block. Wow. Number 5, Brian Peaser is all right, but quite a block.
On 3rd and 2, they needed to get to the 5 for a first down. And the ball right on the 5-yard line marker, and it's 1st and goal for Providence.
Earlier in the first half, remember on that one bootleg where he elected to throw it and he had the opportunity to run. That time Stan made a really outstanding decision on the bootleg. Those passes you don't throw are just as important as the ones you do throw.
7.5 minutes, as you see in the corner of your screen, left in the 3rd quarter. 1st and goal, Cleveland churning, keeps those legs driving to the 2-yard line. In there on the stop, Aaron Vogt, along with Matt Zier.
Likes to run behind Dad McEntee, big number 75. Providence really has all the ingredients, the active big lineman up front, good leading fullback, and Darren Richler, and then a running back that keeps his legs alive.
2nd and goal. Cleveland into the end zone for the touchdown, just inside the pylon.
Penalty flag.
Right there waiting for him there was the cornerback Mackinson, but
might have had a hold called. I don't know. Mark Ryder was in motion, making a good effort out on the perimeter. We'll see what the call is.
And this one's going to be stepped off against the Celtics.
Holding.
So wipe off the touchdown. The ball's moved back to the 14-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and goal as Dave Young, coaching what we would figure would be the last game in his head coaching career, at least right now at Pontiac. He'll probably happily return as defensive coordinator next year when Mick Peterson is reinstated. Play action fake by Stanton into the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown with the catch. Up.
Wow.
Now they say incomplete.
They reversed the call on it.
Tony Vlahovic was right there, and at first the indication was that he made the catch, but then
he ran a post corner route. He ran a beautiful pass route. I have a chance to take a close look at it. Of course, we don't have replay in high school, but there's that ball behind the back. Nice job.
Now he trapped it. Clearly trapped it and rolled off the ball.
Easy call. Great call by the official.
3rd and goal from the 14. Stanton breaks free. Looks back the other way. Still on his feet. Throws.
Oh my gosh.
Caught for a touchdown by Tim Turkowski. Do you believe that?
Don't ask me to draw that one up on a telescope, okay?
Go ahead, I want to see it.
It'll look like spaghetti. What a play.
Turkowski, his 2nd touchdown of the day, is 12th of the year.
Well, we'll have a chance to see Nick Stanton do his magic, rolling out right on the bootleg, dropping back, giving ground, finding somebody, and Turkowski finds an open area in the end zone. Nice target. There it is.
Just like the way they drew it up on the chalkboard. The point after is good. And it's a 35-0 lead for the Celtics of Providence Catholic.
Well, and as a matter of fact, you know, most of the coaches will always tell the receivers to come back to the ball or, break from another angle, break to the open area as we have a chance to look at it again.
Yeah, look from another angle. This one's a fun play. This is fun.
Just let the picture do the talking. Look at that. Keeping his feet alive, throwing off the back foot a la Brett Favre, and there he is. Turkowski finding an open area. if you'd had an ISO camera on Turkowski, probably in the beginning, he ran probably 3 or 4 different routes on that one play, breaking the open areas.
Well,
great job by Stamp.
Supposedly the scouting report says, you see the scoring drive that was at Stanton wasn't the mobile quarterback that Providence had in the past, but he certainly showed a nimbleness there.
And players continue to improve, you know, constantly throughout the season. As, you know, you indicated earlier, his confidence level wasn't where they wanted it in throwing, but, I mean, here he is, and that, I mean, that's as good a play as you'll see.
Early in the season, the load was definitely on the running game for Providence.
Sure.
Once he got his confidence going, then that really made their attack even more dangerous. I mean, they've had an explosive attack this year. The kick taken by Benning. Turns the corner and is brought down at the 22-yard line. 12 yards on the return, and right now Pontiac would like nothing better than just get that goose egg off the scoreboard, down 35-0.
Most definitely. And Providence has really taken advantage of field position, the wind, and along with their execution of that passing game blended with a strong running game. The Indians just need to start one first down at a time. That's all. Get the wind at their back.
2 more games coming up, the 8A battle and then the 7A rematch from Edwardsville and Providence. On first down, running play for Pontiac as they get it up to the 25-yard line, a pickup of 3. Why not you just take it baby steps right at this point here?
Exactly. You know, no penalties. You don't need the penalties, that's for sure.
Last time we checked, you can't get 35 points with one single play, so you just chip away. You try to get some confidence going. Still 17-plus minutes left in this football game.
Oh, no.
Intercepted Matt McDermott. McDermott to the 4-yard line, and another costly turnover for Pontiac. A 27-yard return for Matt McDermott, and Providence is sitting pretty again deep in Pontiac territory.
And McDermott had that kind of position earlier in the game as the Indians try to hit the slant end pass, and that slant end's going to be picked off right out in there by a strong safety, McDermott, and he just sat on that slant. Did a great job.
Of course, Pontiac fans would probably like to say what might have been if Ross Blakeman were still calling things before he broke his thumb in the first-round playoff game. Even second-string quarterback Eric Giovannini have been very effective in the playoffs, subbing for Blakemore. As Cleveland turns his way to the 2-yard line and picks up a couple.
Indians are still playing hard up front, though. They really are. You know, it's just I was going to say when it rains, it pours, but when there's snow flurries, it snows heavily. Right now, everything that we talked about, error-free football, has not happened. And Providence has just got too many good weapons to do that against.
You saw number 9, Buck Cassidy's really been an outstanding 4-year starter defensively at Pontiac. Kind of like a coach on the field, says Dave Young. Cleveland, untouched into the end zone, touchdown.
There's great hook blocking up front. Richler leading around on the stretch play. And Cleveland scores, what is that, 31 touchdowns now?
31 touchdowns, third of the day, and it's a 41-point lead for Providence, which would mean for the 6th time this year, they'll be involved in a game featuring the running clock. Point after is perfect. 42-0. Watch Clay Cleveland, who's gone over 2,000 yards for his career.
We have a nice end zone view here, and we'll see hook blocks coming out here by everybody. Your fullback, Richler, moves and leads on the play, on the stretch play. Little shuffle step. Everybody's zone blocking. Everybody steps to the outside. Beautiful zone blocking, Richler with a lead, and nobody even put a hand on him.
Just sealed off a lane for him beautifully with that blocking over on the left side. 42-0. Just a 4-yard scoring drive after the McDermott interception, and took 44 seconds. Now you see why Providence scored 4 touchdowns in the second quarter in that win over Joliet Catholic. This team can strike quickly.
Yeah. And, you know, they had a high degree of respect for Joliet Catholic going into that game because they had such a tough contest in the first, you know, meeting of the year. But when I saw that score, I thought, holy cow, they're really peaking at the right time. And, you know, Pontiac's had a great season. They just run into one of, you know, you could argue and say, you know, let's have Providence Catholic play up and play the 6A and play the 7A and 8A and see how they do. You know?
Well, you know, in the semifinals, they beat Rochelle by 20, but Rochelle had 30 minutes of possession in that game to only 18 for Providence. Cunningham on the kick return to the 25-yard line. 18 yards on the return, and the clock will not stop. It'll just keep running. When a team has a 40-point lead, they let the clock run. And this is the 3rd time in the playoffs for Providence.
That's amazing because, I mean, you're looking at all good teams. All good teams. It's a tough way, to, you know, to be on the other side of the coin when you've had such a great season. Just keep picking away at them, Indians, and see if you can get something going. Draw.
Nice play, draw, wide open. There it is for Ryan Benning. Gets good yardage up to the 39-yard line, picks up about 14 yards.
And that's twice they've run the draw, as I recall. They ran it early with Cunningham and got good yardage. And you know what? Good play. Come back to it again.
It's been their most successful running play.
They've got a nice screen pass, too. So because you know right now that the Providence football team's looking for the ball in the air, even though they're into the wind.
Michael Long gives on the handoff, and not much there at all for Cunningham, who was the lone man in the backfield. In there on the stop, Marty Marino, along with one of the other linebackers, Brian Kolzak, where those two have combined for over 200 tackles this year. Where those linebackers just mop up, they let the defensive linemen just do their thing, and it's the linebackers' chore in the Providence defense to make the stop. Both these teams actually run an almost identical defensive scheme.
Got the 4 linemen up front.
Long says, let's put it up, and he finds his man as he completes the pass to Buck Casson, the 6'2 senior.
And Buck Casson's quite a football player, playing both sides of the football himself. Linebacker, very active. He's got good hands, obviously.
You think about all that this Pontiac team had to overcome this year to get here, and you tip your cap to them. What a great job that the players did. And I tried, when I talked with Dave Young, to give him the credit. He said, no, coaches coach, players play. It's the guys on the field. Long on the option, keeping to the 48-yard line. Picks up about 3 on the 3rd down play, close to a first down.
Well, they actually spread Providence out. Providence was playing man-to-man coverage that time, Tom, and a little speed option. Quarterback Long had the opportunity to pitch it or keep it. Just a step away from breaking a big gainer on that one. We might see that one again also.
First down for the Indians at their own 48-yard line. 42-0 Providence Catholic here in the 5A championship game. 2 more games still to come here from Memorial Stadium. There's the draw again. Cunningham gets it into Providence territory. Tackled. On the play, looked like that was Frank Edgeworth making the stop. Marty Marino also on the tackle.
And from what I understand now, Providence subs quite a bit on the offensive side of the ball during many of their games this year, right? But defensively,
no, they pretty much
keep it intact.
They pretty much stay with that unit. 4 wideouts here on a 2nd and 6 for Michael Long. There's the pitch back, and it's sniffed out. Thrown for a loss on the near sideline at the 49-yard line. Marty Marino over there to make the stop, and then says, all right, fans, let's make a little noise.
Warm us up. Get us a little heat there. They ran that speed option again, but actually it looked like Michael Long pitched the ball a little bit earlier than, you know, you would want as a coach. You want to actually really option that outside man, not, you know, predetermine the pitch.
The teams, the opponents for the Celtics have just not been able to handle the speed and quickness and athletic ability of the Celtics defense this year. I mean, you saw a perfect example right there, that lateral movement by Marino. 3rd and 9.
Backside.
And coming from the backside, Matt McDermott on the safety blitz and a sack back at the 40-yard line. Michael Long probably won't believe this right now, but in 2 years, he's going to look back on this season and these games in the playoffs as a big building block for his career.
No doubt about it. And he's going to get the sack on the backside. He doesn't really see it coming. A nice blitz from the backside safety, strong safety, and he's McDermott's had some nice plays this game, hasn't he?
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. 1 quarter to go. Providence in control as we hear from your local stations.
Are you looking for quality television? Then turn to Channel 20 and discover a world of quality family programs. You'll find educational and children's programming, specials, and original WICC productions. If you enjoy innovative television, contribute $35 and receive 1 year of our monthly program guide. In addition, you can receive an exclusive WICC premium gift when you contribute more.
For contributions and to become a member, call 773-838-7878 or visit our website at www.wicc.org.
Contribute today so that we may continue to improve our 2020 vision.
A 42-0 lead back here at Memorial Stadium in Champaign. This is the second of 4 championship games coming your way from Memorial Stadium. As you take a look at Jake Cunningham, don't let this game, if this is the only time you see this young man, don't let this game be the way you think about his career. What an outstanding career he's had at Pontiac, is on a 4th down situation. Pontiac will punt. Doug Maw back with the wind at his back. As it bounces by Brian Pizort, and he picks it up back at the 5. Still over to the 20. And a penalty marker thrown at the end of the play as he's brought down shy of the 25-yard line.
He wanted to break the run on that one. He had the wall. A little trouble handling it.
55-yard punt, a 20-yard return. The penalty is going to go against Providence on the return. Or normally you don't like seeing your deep men pick up. I don't want to see your return guys pick up that ball like that inside the 10-yard line, but
no, but sometimes what happens, Tom, is that then everybody gets out of their coverage lanes and they converge and think they're going to make the big play, and a guy will break a long run on that situation.
Nick Stanton, senior quarterback. First down from the 10-yard line. And that play stopped as it looked like Celtics might have taken too long.
Well, we have the running clock.
Ball start. Here's Matt Seffner, finishing up his 35th year as the head coach, as they look to pick up state championship number 7.
7 or 8? I can't remember.
7.
Okay, this would be 7.
They won in 87, 91, 94, 95, 96, 97, and 01. There's Cleveland. Brought down from behind by Jake Cunningham as we take it down to the sidelines, and Lisa.
Tom, I'm with Providence Catholic's president, Father Richard McGrath, and I seem to talk to you every single year. You're always here, and you always...
It's not too cold.
I know, our lips aren't even moving really right now. Father, this is incredible. This will be, you're actually on your way to an 8th state title for Providence Catholic.
Yeah, we're very grateful. Today was certainly our day. This is a fine Pontiac team, great young people, good program, but today just happened to be our day.
And Coach Seffner just does a fantastic job each and every year for Providence Catholic.
Coach Seffner is a living legend. It's a pleasure to work with him. He's an unbelievable man. He motivates the kids like no one else, and they work harder than anybody in the state, so they deserve to be here.
Talk a little bit about the team itself. You've been following them throughout the entire season. They're undefeated. They will be remaining undefeated in 9 minutes right now.
Right. It's been a lot of fun. These young men are hardworking, they're focused, they're normal, healthy kids. As you know, at our school we have strict discipline. We make them behave at school. The discipline helps build that kind of team spirit. They know how to sacrifice and put the good of everybody else in front of just their own interests.
And it's just fantastic to see the amount of people that Providence Catholic brings out here every year.
We have a lot of people. My lips are so cold I can barely talk. Can't make the words out here. Look at our great fans out there. Let's hear it out there.
In fact, as soon as Father McGrath came here, I think he had more people applauding for him because he was going to be on camera than they were for the team itself.
We have a lot of spirit at our school, great program all the way around, all kinds of good things going on. This is just one of the things that we do very well. We're very proud of our athletics. We will never apologize for our success.
You've done a wonderful job, and it's always nice talking to you each and every year.
Thank you. Thanks for your nice attention.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Tom.
All right, Lisa, thank you. Thank you, Father. We appreciate that as Matt Seffner has brought in the subs here with a 42-point lead. Just chokes you up thinking about it.
Well, you know what? This is great for all these other young men. They've worked so hard, and, you know, on the prep teams at practice, and now they get a chance to get in the football game and be in the state championship game also.
That's not confetti, by the way, that's flying by on your screen. Looks like we're in one of those big snow globes as Brown gets the punt away, barely. And it will roll out of bounds right at midfield, and that's where Pontiac will take it over with just over 7 minutes left to go in this game. We'll be back to Memorial Stadium after this.
Are you going to make that call?
When you call Country Insurance and Financial Services, the unexpected will happen.
Hello, thank you for calling Country.
Hello? Who's this?
You'll actually talk to a real person.
I didn't think you'd answer as quickly.
Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
This is my country.
Bradco Supply and Owens Corning are proud sponsors of this year's IHSA football finals. Bradco salutes all the teams and players and reminds everyone to have a safe and happy holiday season. And happy holidays to you all from Memorial Stadium. Glad you are watching wherever you are, safe in your big cozy easy chair in front of a fire.
Eating a turkey
Or
sandwich.
a big bowl of popcorn, and we're envious. The clock continues to run from the 50, first down. Michael Long throws and threw it behind his intended receiver as he was looking for Joe Burgess.
It's a little different when you see an incomplete pass to see the clock running. Look at that group. They're used to this. And you know what? There's your real fans. A lot of them, you know, some people might not have come down because of the cold weather, but there's the people who made the trip.
But you know, I don't see anybody that is going with just the body paint today. I wonder why.
We haven't seen one. Just the shorts.
On the carry, Buck Casson. Buck Casson, one of the seniors on this ball club.
Got a lot of new faces out there, Tom, on defense, too. That's great. Coach is making sure a lot of guys get on the field.
Have a chance to play here on the Memorial Stadium artificial surface and take home a piece of a memory. You're making memories for a lifetime here in the state championships. 3rd down and 8 from the 48 of Providence. The throw incomplete, as in there at quarterback, Ross Blakeman, who had been the second string quarterback. He went in when the injury occurred.
Trying to get Burgess on that fade pattern. Tough when you throw the ball up in the air today, too. You know, the wind can affect that. When you have the wind at your back, it can sail on you also. Maybe they can get that punt off and get it inside the 5 again.
They got Blakeman in there for one play. He had been the guy that had carried them all year long. Back to get it, Mark Bennett. Out of bounds at the 27, 28-yard line with 4.5 minutes to go. A 32-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Well, holy smokes. Even Santa comes to the state finals, taking a day off from the North Pole.
Well, tomorrow is December 1st, so we're getting closer and closer. We're in December tomorrow.
I tell you what, the economy has really been tough when you see Santa Claus having to take a second job.
Yeah, he's making a few bucks on the side, too, in the event stand.
Santa Claus moonlighting. I've seen it all. Carrying that ball for the Celtics is DeAndre Nunn. DeAndre Nunn had a big 11-yard touchdown in the semifinals against Rochelle. First time he touched the ball in that ball game. Scored sweeping to his right side.
And don't you think, you know, he's a junior and he's 190 pounds. He'll, you know, this is getting him primed for next year right now. Let's get these guys a chance to play. That gives them a lot of motivation in the hot days of August.
A lot of these guys, indeed. This is a building block for next year. The quarterback, John Brown. DeAndre Nunn brought down from behind, tackled by Aaron Vogt.
Vogt's playing hard the whole way, isn't he? Got to give a lot of credit to that co-captain.
Well, that defensive front 8, Dave Young said, is the best defensive front I've had in my 20-year career. He says these guys have just played lights out.
And they really, you know, today they played well, to be honest. I mean, you know, you'd say, well, how can you say that with a 42-point score? But they've really held up quite well against a lot of the running plays.
I tell you who's got to be feeling a little bit better about their game last weekend right now are the Hubs of Rochelle. Or they gave them a battle there at Rochelle's field on Saturday afternoon. DeAndre Nunn still on his feet. Still on his feet.
You know what happens? You get these guys coming in fresh, and they're so hungry to play, and they're full of energy. He ran the spin move off the stretch play. We've seen this play a few times in the game, and Nunn will get hit initially there by Casson on the backside. Look at that balance. He spins off, stays on the outside. He's spinning, whirling dervish. Great effort.
Just like you in your days, right, Jim?
I don't know. I used to backpedal a lot. I was a defensive back.
Or didn't your dervish whirl just quite like that? The punt. And it's down at midfield. A 15-yard punt. The clock's still running. Under 2 minutes now here in the 5A state championship.
Be nice to see the Indians get on the board. I'm sure Providence would like a shutout, but you know, the most points scored on them this year has been 14, so many a team has gone this path against the Providence Celtics this year.
580 to 52 is what Providence has outscored their opponents this year, including the game today. From midfield, Blakemore back in at quarterback. And that running play to the 43-yard line for a gain of about 7.
Got to give a lot of credit to Jake Cunningham, too. He's been quite a journeyman this season.
I've been impressed with him today, with the way he does everything. The way he plays defense tough.
He's very versatile.
The way he catches the ball, the way he's run the ball. What a marvelous athlete the Boilermakers are apparently going to get. Here's the carry for the other running back as that carry right there.
Joe Tissieri, 24.
Joe Tissier, number 24, a 6'1" senior. That's going to be it. That's going to be the last play. You see the clock winding down, and Hugs on the sidelines for Providence.
I mean, what an outstanding coach, Matt Sefner, leader of a great group of young athletes, done it so many years, year after year.
35 years, 8 state championships. Final play of the game. And that's going to be it. That last carry for Jake Cunningham. Matt Sefner comes on, victorious. An undefeated season, 28 consecutive victories. Second consecutive 14-0 season for the Celtics as they dust off another spot in the trophy case for yet another state championship trophy.
No kidding. And I hope they can just enjoy the moment instead of saying, hey, now who do we have next?
And what a job Dave Young did this year under very trying circumstances. At one time, he wanted to be the head coach. In fact, he really wasn't that happy when they first brought Mick Peterson in because he wanted the job. But he's been a vital member of Mick Peterson's staff, and he'll be happy just to be a defensive coordinator next year.
You know, real team player, just as a coach, too.
Yeah.
And that's why his team played the way they did this year, you know, with a lot of problems and adversity. And class act, both these guys.
Great athletic traditions at both of these schools, Providence and Pontiac. Pontiac, a team that's been playing high school football for almost 100 years. Great tradition there in Central Illinois, the heart of this great state, as the players congratulate each other as Providence comes away with a 42-0 victory to cap off a perfect season.
That's the way they had it written up.
Back with more from Memorial Stadium after we take this time out.
This is my country. These are my people. This is the world I understand.
It's not just talking about service. It's really knowing the people we serve.
I know them like the back of my own hand.
Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
Need a truck? Call the red, white, and blue fleet from Elite Truck Rental. Elite's loaded with trucks in all sizes ready to serve you. Plus, at Elite Truck, your reservations are guaranteed, you're in and out fast, and you always get a great price.
This IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. Well, the Celtics gather at midfield, and their congratulatory hugs for a successful head coach, Matt Sefner.
Family around, friends, close friends, a lot of people who've worked so hard.
He's got a big family. All the players over all the years are all part of his family.
No doubt about it.
Like every head coach. Let's send it down to the field and our Lisa Prati. Go ahead, Lisa.
Tom, Coach just said it feels a lot better now that this game is finally over. Congratulations on back-to-back wins. 6A last year against Richards, now against Pontiac. How does it feel?
Thank you very much. It's just this is great. You know, each group of kids is different, and this group had their own legacy, so to speak, and they came out and they really played very well today. And these guys really, they took away our running game, all 4 quarters. Nick Stanton picked up the receivers, you know, in their really bad adverse conditions, and you know, we're really, I couldn't be happier. You know, I could not be happier for these kids.
Well, a lot of credit goes to your team too, because back-to-back titles, but also back-to-back shutouts.
Yes, it was. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's nice. And you know, our defense prides itself on a shutout, and you know, we had an outstanding defense this year. You know, they're the ones that. Every week we talk about those guys they got to carry the load, and they do. Week in and week out, we're very, very fortunate to have, you know, such a hard group of, you know, young defensive players. And, you know, I just couldn't be happier for this group of kids. They're really, really outstanding.
Well, you deserve a lot of credit also, having winning season since 1980. Father McGrath just moments ago told me that you are a legend yourself when it comes to high school sports and coaching.
Well, thank you. It's, you know, it's it's easy when you got kids and parents and administration that really supports you. And you know, again, I couldn't be happier. This, like I told the kids, I said, you know, you make me a very special person at the end of all these seasons. And you know, I'm just a guy that's, you know, kind of like running the show. But they're the guys that do all the work, all the coaches and all the kids. I couldn't be happier.
Well, congratulations once again on the 5A state championship. Coach Seffner, very humble, but he does such a wonderful job for Providence Catholic, and definitely a legend when it comes to high school coaches. Back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Lisa. As you see the Pontiac Indians, they are bloody but unbowed. A very, very gallant effort. And you heard Matt give the Indians defense credit. They did. They shut down that running game.
That's right, Tom. They did a great job up front. No one quit either, you know, and when they watch their film, they'll see nothing but effort as coaches and players, you know, in the pits and linebacking crew, and they played hard. They just met an exceptional football team today.
You know, you wonder if they would have thought that this day would have even been possible when 2 days before the season, the turn of events that forced Mick Peterson to the sidelines, but that is a testimony to Coach Peterson's program, to his coaching staff, to his players, to the Pontiac community, that they prevailed through injuries and other adversity. You know, you always hear coaches talk about adversity. You coaches always talk about adversity, but that was some real character shown by Pontiac and what they did this year.
Most definitely, Tom. And you know what? There was adversity out here with the inclement weather situation. Let's face it, the kids played hard, and in this kind of situation with the way the wind was blowing and how cold it was, I thought the players on both sides did quite well execution-wise, and definitely did a great job effort-wise.
There are a lot of teams that probably wouldn't mind being there. There you take a look at Aaron Vogt winding up a tremendous 4-year career at Pontiac.
You know, a lot of these fellows, they may go on and play Division III or some of the other, you know, keep playing, but they'll always remember the kids they grew up with, you know, when they were teenagers and the experiences they had in high school football.
At your 20th reunion, your 30th reunion, you'll all get together again and relive what was still a magical season for Pontiac as they finish in second place in Class 5A here in Champaign as they raise the trophy that will head right back up on historic Route 66 and have a very cherished place in their trophy case with a great athletic tradition there at Pontiac. And that sea of green.
We heard Coach Seffner, what a humble man. And you know what, he also would give a lot of credit to his assistant coaches because, you know, one man does not do it alone. There's so many outstanding assistant coaches around the state of Illinois and working so hard. And like you had said earlier, Tom, David Young was an assistant all those years with Pontiac. And, you know, many of these guys could be head coaches. Well, they just like the program they're in, and they like coaching the kids.
Had a chance to be at Providence's practice on Tuesday in the snow out there, tromping through 3 inches of snow, and these young, aggressive assistant coaches were working like clockwork. They were very impressive in watching their practice on Tuesday. The championship medals about to be awarded.
They set the bar a little higher there at Providence Catholic. You know, I mean, a lot of teams that just have a goal of maybe winning the conference. With all the 8 championships, couple runner-up trophies, they set the bar like this is what they really talk about there when they have a program that's up and running. They talk about state titles, and the kids believe.
There's Clay Cleveland, number 29. The mighty mite that he is, strong young man, a hard runner.
Great offensive line up in front of him too. They had a little trouble today, though. I mean, we have to give the Indians credit. They did a nice job.
There is Clay Cleveland getting his medal.
Mark Ryder there.
Yep. There's the leader in the offensive line, Big Joe Cerullo, the 300-pounder. Quite a haircut there.
Yeah, I don't know if I got a haircut or not.
Nick Stanton, the quarterback. Who had that haircut? That was Marty Marino.
Oh, well, that's a linebacker for you, right? There's another piece of hardware.
For the 8th time, the Celtics raise a state championship trophy. And for yet another time here in Champaign, they proudly raise it skyward here in this cold, gray, snowy day in Champaign. And finish off a perfect 14-0 season.
2 of them in a row, right?
2 in a row, 28 consecutive victories. No pressure for the 2003 team, right?
Oh, no kidding.
No pressure. No pressure.
Well, they've had other runs like this.
They have. And again, for a young coach back in 1968 that went 1-6, they went 0-7 in '69, 1-8 in 1970.
Who
I don't
would have
think
thought?
back
if you
then.
had asked him, Matt Sefner, that, after 30-some years from that point on, where his school and the program had been, just to stick with it at a school like that all those years. Because, I'm sure Matt Sefner's had a lot of opportunities to leave, and he just didn't want to. You win a couple state titles, midway through his career. He could have left, but he did. Stayed right there at Providence Catholic, and he's held in high regard.
All right, let's go down to the field where Lee Hall has the victorious quarterback, Nick Stanton.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Nick Stanton, tell me about winning 2 in a row and adding another one to the trophy case.
That's an incredible feeling. I mean, going 28-0, never losing on a varsity team. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, we couldn't do it without our great coaching staff. I have to give all the credit to the world to our linemen. Linemen, block for Clay, an all-state running back. They hold their blocks for me. Also the receivers. I mean, the whole no interception thing. I mean, that's all them right there. I mean, I don't even have to worry about it because they're so wide open. They make great watts and they help us out a lot.
Can you tell me about the actual game out there today? I mean, you never expect to have a game go like that when you get to a state championship level.
We really didn't even expect it this year, especially because there's the weather, the conditions, how strong the wind was. Really thought the run was going to be a big part today. I mean, but I give all the credit to the world. Pontiac, I mean, they stopped an all-state running back Clay. I mean, we couldn't really do that much to start out. I mean, so we did our our play action and our boots and stuff like that, and it helped us out a lot.
People are watching this all over the state. What's it mean to be a Providence Celtic?
Being a Providence Celtics means being #1.
I guess you can't put it any better than that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, back upstairs, guys.
Simplicity. Being a Celtic,
no
being
doubt
#1.
about it, Tom. And you know what? The humility he showed, it starts with the head coach and works its way right down through to the team members. And, Matt Sefner, if he heard that young man speak like that, he'd be very proud of how he gave credit to the other guys on his football team.
We'll be back after we hear from some of our network sponsors.
This is my country. These are my people. This is the world I understand.
It's not just talking about service. It's really knowing the people we serve.
I know them like the back of my own hand.
Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
I'm an official because I can be part of the game, not just a spectator. I'm involved.
I'm a mentor to the kids so they learn the game and respect the game. I've enhanced my leadership skills.
I'm more disciplined.
And I've learned to be fair-minded in tough situations. Officiating isn't easy, and it's certainly not for everyone.
But it could be for you.
Call this number below and find out how you can become a sports official in your community.
Go ahead. Make the call.
Underwear and sock liners I'm going to put on that I had for
what?
Friday night. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium here in Champaign. Tom Stocker, Jim Covert with you as you see the Celtics getting ready to put on pose there for a championship picture that will head for their trophy case there up in New Lenox as they win their 8th state championship with a 42-0 victory. I hope they have a wide-angle lens for the size of that squad.
And the size of all of those trophies in the trophy case, Tom. What a day, huh?
Well, maybe they have to build on a new wing. I don't know. Welcome back up here in the booth as we get ready now here between games. Coming up will be the 8A battle, which will be just another outstanding game. 2 more games coming your way here on the field at Memorial Stadium. Let's take a look right now at the numbers, and you'll see just the one-sided stats with the total yards, 343 for Providence to 77 for the Pontiac Indians.
And we had said earlier in the game, Pontiac was going to have to play an error-free game, and you see that there was 3 turnovers for the Indians, and Providence it was error-free, so that really cost them also.
And I believe all 3 turnovers resulted in a touchdown for Providence, and that really opened the game wide up. Meanwhile, in some of the other specialty stats, you can take a look. Either team doing really well in 3rd down conversions. Providence 41 running plays to 12 passing plays, but look at the efficiency of Nick Stanton completing 9 of 12, and look at the passing numbers for Pontiac. You know, they talked about Michael Long and his passing ability, but they only completed 3 of 17 passes on the day.
And that's very big. That's very big, and that play action pass made such a big difference today to set up some of those running touchdowns.
Let's take a look now at some of the highlights from this 42-0 victory for Providence. They scored on their very first possession. Clay Cleveland just tucks inside the left tackle and gets it in to make it a 7-0 ball game. Then 2 possessions later, this is Nick Stanton putting it up nicely to Tim Turkowski, who had just come into the ball game. His first reception. It was 14-0. Cleveland now takes it wide in the 2nd quarter to make it 21-0. Now another play action fake, and this is what Stanton did so well all day, and then found his man Stevens wide open in the end zone, 28-0. Meanwhile, for Michael Long, the sophomore quarterback, a bad pitch there to the running back Cunningham, recovered by the Celtics. That turns into another touchdown as Stanton off that play fake.
Is this the great scramble play?
This is the great Houdini. The great Stantonini. Now you see him, now you don't. And somewhere he spots a man in the end zone and completes it to Turkowski for his 2nd touchdown of the day. No problem.
The stretch play again. Great zone blocking. Frischler with the lead block. Clay Cleveland, and there's a happy coach. Wonderful, outstanding program. And as he said, hey, we're done. Let's get warm.
Joe Cerullo, there's Coach Matt Sefner and the Celtics getting the team picture taken after winning another state championship here at Memorial Stadium. Well, you know, it was obviously a situation for Pontiac. They really had their hands full. Really, as it turned out, Rochelle gave perhaps the toughest play in the playoffs to Providence Catholic, scoring 14 points last weekend, and really, that for a little while in that ball game, they had Providence on the ropes.
Well, that's right, and the defense of Providence this year is just, as Matt Sefner said, has just been so outstanding. They had only given up 13 points against teams like Joliet Catholic and the schedule they play for the entire season. 13 points, so you knew this was a very special Providence football team.
And 2 games against Joliet Catholic held them to 2 total points. That'll be it for our 5A championship. Again, Providence wins it by the score of 42-0. Jim and I will be back later on for the 7A championship. Meanwhile, let's take time out now here from your local stations.
I'm Reverend Betty Mixon, but lately I'm best known as the mother of Professor Constance Mixon. When Connie was named the 2001 Illinois Professor of the Year by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching, I knew that her commitment to her students was being recognized. My daughter could teach anywhere, but she chooses to teach at Daly College, the city colleges of Chicago. They have the state's best teacher and a whole lot more.
When you really want to know what's going on in the world, you want to watch the leader in world news, BBC World News, broadcast only on Channel 20.
The start of our 8A state championship game between Stevenson and Lockport. Let's go into the press room and check out the victorious. Let's go listen to Pontiac, I'm told. Pontiac is in the press room right now.
Showing that we've had a great season, and it's something our kids will be extremely proud of.
Do we have any questions for Coach John?
You talked about how the defense gave Providence.
Question was to talk about how the Providence defense gave Pontiac's offense trouble.
Well, Providence's defense we knew was an exceptional defense. We thought we had some things we could do against them, but our field possession never really allowed us, especially we spent most of our time going into the wind, and whenever we did throw the ball, we did not throw it to the right guy, and we thought we could run the ball, and I thought we showed times where we could do that, and there were some running opportunities there, but we could not take advantage of them at times because of I guess poor decision making. So it just kind of then, started going in their favor, and once they got some points on the board, then their defense, tightened down even greater, and it kind of just snowballed from there.
Coach, your defense was intent on stopping the running game, especially Cleveland. Were you surprised at all that they were able to throw the ball so well?
The question was if the coach was surprised that Providence was able to throw the ball so well on offense.
Well, you got to try to take away something from them, and they had shown their run was what they were the strongest at. We knew they could throw the ball, and our game plan was to keep people underneath you, but that didn't happen, and so then they got both weapons going, both with Cleveland and their throwing game, and we had some opportunities to take rush the quarterback and sack the quarterback, and we had a couple blown calls, and you can't have that in this kind of a game, and before you knew it, they were in the end zone, and so we don't really have much to say. But our intent was to try to take away the running game, because you got to take away something.
All right, and congratulations to Pontiac on a fine season. Dave Young doing an outstanding job as interim head coach, and the Indians overcame a lot. They lost their coach and their quarterback to suspension. They lost 2 quarterbacks to injury and made it to the carpet here for the state championship. Our congratulations to them. We're getting ready for Lockport and Stevenson, and we are with Lockport principal Bob Meter and Lockport AD Ken Irvin. Let's talk to Mr. Meter first, the principal. Has to be an exciting day in Lockport.
It's an exciting time for the all the communities that feed in Lockport Township High School. We got an excellent crowd here today. We have an outstanding football season. The cheerleaders, the POM, the band, our ROTC, they're all here. It's a great time for the city of Lockport.
First state championship game in football. That makes it even more of an exciting day for you.
We're hoping that we can bring back the first state championship for football in Lockport's history. I'd like to also congratulate Matt Sefner and the Providence Celtics. We'd like to bring back 2 state championships to Will County today. It's exciting for all the communities that feed into Lockport High School.
Let's talk to Ken Irvin. We were talking with Mr. Meter earlier about all the athletics, and we haven't seen Lockport here before, but every time I turn around and look at an IHSA quarterfinal in one sport or another, we see Lockport Porters.
Yeah, we're very proud. We've had like 8 state championships in the last 10 years. Volleyball, we've been there in 2nd place, knocking the door in quite a few sports, badminton, you name it, we've been there. But this is our first in football, and we're just very excited to be here and be a part of all this.
You are probably as glad as anyone to see this game finally get here. As athletic director, you've probably been working around the clock.
Yeah, this is overtime for me, but I'll tell you, this is the kind of stuff that you have plenty of energy left for. Whatever it takes, hours-wise, it's well worth the moment to see these kids have this kind of experience. It's wonderful for Lockport. We couldn't be happier.
I think people that maybe aren't a part of athletics or maybe aren't into it as much as people like you and I don't realize how much you have to do to get ready. I mean, what are you doing? Hotel rooms, tickets, passes, buses.
And I think in football, there's even more that I didn't realize, because the IHSA and they do a tremendous job here at Champaign. I just want to tell you, this is first class here. And I think with all the things that they have for you, the tent city, there's so much information to get out to the parents so they know what's going on. I'm being a travel agent, but it's a good job to have.
Tell us about Steve Walker. He's thrown for almost 4,000 yards. Right. I am really looking forward to seeing him play this afternoon.
Yeah. Steve Walker he works in my office in the AD, and he's just a fantastic person, a quality person, great character, and he's just gotten better every game. And we hope that he's got a last game here that's still left to be to show what he can do in football. He's just a tremendous football player.
Let's go back to Mr. Meter real quick. Let's talk about other things that are going on at Lockport Township High School besides the great athletic programs and obviously the great football team.
Well, first of all, we always strive to have the most outstanding curriculum that we can offer any student, prepare the kids for college, any vocational, occupational jobs whatsoever. That's our #1 emphasis. We follow it right 1A with co-curriculars and our athletics. A lot of clubs, a lot of organizations. Everyone's caught up, though, with our football team right now.
And we hear at least one band here, and I see the Lockport band here, too. Gentlemen, welcome to Champaign.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here. Have a good time. All right. We appreciate you joining us. And Stevenson people, if you're out there, we'll give you equal time. Just show up at the southwest corner, all right? Let's go now inside to the press room and the victorious Providence Celtics.
We just don't go for that kind of stuff out of Providence. This group of kids, there was only 4 that started last year, and they wanted to make it on their own, and they did. They worked very, very hard in the off season. They made themselves the players that you saw out there today. There's a lot of guys that are capable of the big play on any given down, and I think you saw that today. Flexible, offensively and defensively, I think is a way of explaining this group. They defensively, no matter what they're going to see, week in and week out, our defensive coordinator and defensive coaches will have a scheme of adjustments, and the kids execute them flawlessly, as they did again today. They spend an awful lot of time repping things. And I mean, sometimes you saw out there today that when they're going to do this, they're going to do that. We were right there pretty much. And it is my understanding that defensively, that somebody told me that we broke the 5A record of fewest yards given up. I thought that was, very well deserved by this group. Offensively, the flip side there is that those guys, again, are flexible. You know, we put things in the schemes, and I think you know, these guys. Sometimes they make fun of me, but last Sunday, how about it? We just put that one little play action pass where Benny went deep because we anticipated the aggressiveness of number 34 and wanting to, you know, blow us up off tackle there, and that was big. That was a big play for us, I think, twice, right? Two, and so, you know, and it was just like part of our offense. We just expanded it a little bit, and that's what I mean about flexibility. It was like no big deal for these guys. Thank you.
Any questions?
Taco, how you doing?
The question was to talk about the dominance that 4 out of the last 5 playoff games that they had the running clock, and 7 out of the last 8 games has been a running clock.
Well, you know, that stems from the defense. I think you saw today, a lot of times we don't get I think we had 400 yards plus against Joliet Catholic, I think. And, but other than that, the defense is getting us ball in the red zone, and we just got to punch it in. And that's been big all year, you know, that we're scoring a lot of points, but defensively, we certainly set the table for the offense, and that's what good teams do. And that's where this dominance thing comes into play. And then the defense just is, they never have an off day.
Yeah. And welcome back to the field here at Memorial Stadium.